decide. Okay, I'll grant you that. Yes, you can say, "Hey, do I want to be in a relationship or not?" Sure, but being who you're attracted to in general, that's not a decision that you make, right? What we're
It
talking about.
depends. Actually, let me say this: if you grew up around a lot of that, then I think it can. Because kids' brains, when they're young, they're so, they
No,
fall for so many things. Yes, because that's why there's so many.
no, my kids grew up around straight cisgender people, and they're not either. So,
I mean, honestly, there was. I was the first out gay person in my town. Whenever I came out after high school, there was no one out in the county, let alone the town. And it was nothing you heard at all. I mean, honestly, yeah, sure. We had Bugs Bunny, and you saw Bugs Bunny wear a dress one time. Did that make me gay? No. Not any more than you watching Mrs. Doubtfire would have done that for you, or seeing Aladdin and seeing the genie changing costumes. You know what I mean? That doesn't happen. Or seeing Lion King for that matter, or Mulan, or any Disney movie really. That's not how it happens.
So,
But I mean, go ahead.
so in a referred way, were you trying to be different?
Was I trying to be different? No.
Yeah, because it wasn't a popular name back then. Because you said you're about 40, right? 40. What do you? You're double my age. Like 44.
I'm 40. Okay, now we're best friends. I'm sorry. Now we have to hang out all the time. No, I'm 50. I said more than double your age, but I appreciate the compliment. No, I would say honestly, no. Me coming out. It was, and again, this is not about gay kids. It's about trans kids. But it was not a safety issue. I mean, I'm sorry. It was a safety issue. I was not safe. I was attacked physically multiple times for being who I am, and I had to hide who I was for my own safety. And right now in America, people like say, "Oh, it's better for LGBTQ people." Not completely, especially right now. There are over 500 bills across the country against LGBTQ Americans. Most of them are specifically targeting trans youth, and it's even more dangerous for trans youth because they're. Oh, we lost you.
what the hell?
Where'd you go, Jay?
Okay, he was extremely misinformed, but
Did someone report him for real?
yes.
Come on. He was actually having a conversation, and I respect that.
Gosh. All right.
I'm sorry, Jay. That sucks. It was definitely not us, obviously. That sucks.
Hi, Jaden. All right, I gotta reset. Let's do this again. Round 2. I'm almost done with my dishes, and then I can.
Oh, I gotta fold my laundry. My gay DD is kicking in. I'm
All
gonna
right,
break the laundry.
back.
Okay, I'll be here.
I'll be
Yep.
right back. Hi. All right, tap the screen, share the live. Let's give this another shot.
I love that you and I are both in domestic diva mode tonight.
I've been putting it off, so I need to get it done.
Well, look, if it wasn't for that football kicker telling us what we should be doing with our lives in the kitchen, what would we do?
Hello?
Hello?
Hey, Angie.
Hi. How are you?
Good. How
So
are you?
I am 42.
Okay.
Awesome. What's that?
So I have a question. Okay. Well, we need some guidance actually. We live in a small town, and my 9-year-old, one of his good friends, has recently come out as trans and started dressing up as a girl. And I need guidance on how to actually explain this to him because being in a small town, it's taboo.
Right.
And the the parents are really fighting for this. I mean, I don't care. I believe anyone can be whatever they want. I was born in a big city, but now living in a small town, a lot of the parents are against it, and then protests outside the school and all.
Oh.
But I'm just trying to explain to my 9-year-old
Oh my God.
what this is.
Right. Well, I am not a
Schools are
parent.
not
So
giving
I
us
will,
information.
yeah, I am not a parent. So I will let the actual parent
Take that
Yeah,
one.
I mean, this type of thing that you're talking about is literally what we're trying to prevent with these types of lives. Being for LGBTQ, being taught in schools so children have an understanding of what being transgender is. That child absolutely does not deserve to be treated like that. To have parents being protesting about their existence is wild to me. So what exactly? So you're looking for advice to help your child understand? Is that what you said?
Yeah, because he's like, can I still play with him? Can we do the same thing? And then he's like, how come he can't use my bathroom now? And he has to use the counselor's bathroom or the nurse's bathroom because he's not allowed to use either bathroom.
God, that's.
And I told him, you can still play with him. There's nothing around that. But then he
Yeah.
goes to me,
So is
but
she?
what about your rules about not having someone from the opposite sex staying in the house? And I'm like, well, that's a rule that I've always had, you know, and it's nothing wrong with that. It's just like it's a rule that I have, because I have an older boy, and I go, you cannot have nobody from the opposite sex staying in the house just because of safety concerns.
So she now identifies. God, that's so loud. Thank you. She now identifies as a girl. Is that what you're saying?
Yes.
So definitely, just talk to your. Thank you. Thing is so loud. Definitely talk to your child about, affirming her that, people thought she was a boy, but she's actually a girl. But she's still the same person that she was, when your child was friends with her before. When he thought she was a boy, she's still the same kid. So if he liked her before, he should still like her now.
Yeah.
Yeah, she's just expressing herself differently, and she is just recognized that people got it wrong and that she's not a girl. I mean, not a boy. Sorry.
Yeah. And then I feel bad telling him, okay, you know what? Because he used to come before, she used to come over for the night, but I'm like, now that she's transitioned, I mean, I don't want to go back to my rule about keeping, no one from the opposite sex can spend the night.
So that is something that is very difficult for trans kids. A lot of trans kids get shunned by families of friends that they used to be friends with. I don't.
This is a rule we always had in the house, because I have 3 boys, and
Yeah, but
they've always
it's
had the
still the
rule.
same. It's
Yeah,
still the same child, though.
that's the thing, and I feel like I don't. It's like, am I contradicting to myself and saying like she can still come over versus when my older son wants to invite, say, his girlfriend over.
Right. No, that's definitely a unique position. Is that now you're saying like for staying overnight or playing in general? What are you talking about?
No, staying overnight, spending the night. They
Okay.
can come over, but spending the night. They always have that rule
Well,
that
just yeah,
no
then
one from the opposite sex can
just
come
stick with
over.
that. Then, like, she can still come over. She just can't stay the night. That's it.
Yeah.
Okay, that feels fair. Because
Okay.
you would be being consistent and respecting her identity.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, how much more can you affirm someone's gender by saying, I recognize you so much that I'm going to be consistent with this rule that I have for the rest of my kids and my family. So yeah, sure. But
And
I
that's
think
the
it's
rule we always
important that
had in the house.
yeah, and I think it's important that you're also recognizing that you're not keeping her from your kid's life. You're not saying they can't be friends. You're still allowing them the space to be friends, so they can maintain the friendship they've had. So this could be the friendship may evolve and be a little bit different than it was before, but you're still allowing them to continue that friendship, and I think that's a very positive thing.
Yeah, I told them, look, she can come over the summer. She likes riding the horses also that we have on here on the farm. And I'm like, she just cannot spend the night no more because we've always had that rule that no one from the
And she's a
opposite sex
girl.
can come over.
Yeah, and I think as long as you say that she's a girl, and again, like when it comes to 9-year-olds, you keep things pretty simple. Like again, that like, because my youngest child was 9 when my oldest came out, and like all I told them was, that the person that we thought was your brother is actually your sister. This is her name. These are her pronouns.
Yeah.
And then they were like, oh, okay, cool. And that was it. So really just keep it simple. Like, oh, we thought she was a boy and she's actually a girl, but still the same person. So I just need to change the rule on overnight because we don't allow girls to spend the night. So that's it.
Okay. I was like, oh, okay, this is gonna be kind of tricky now, you know.
Look, I love that that's the direction you took it in, honestly. I mean, you're saying, how can I support my child, and how can I support this trans child as well? And it's
Hmm.
heartbreaking that you're saying what she's going through, what the girl's going through is adults invalidating her and protesting her existence.
Yeah,
Like,
that's
that's crazy.
No,
She,
yeah, it's they're against it. It's like in for the whole bathroom issue, she has to use the nurse's bathroom
oh,
or the counselor's bathroom because the parents they were like, we don't want her using the girl's bathroom now. You know,
these are the
it's not
people.
right.
These are the people that say protect our kids, who are literally bullying a child. It's awful.
Yeah.
Now, real quick, the books that you have, right? What's the age range that that's written for?
around that age. That age would be a good. Actually, it's a really perfect book on Amazon. You could get the book called My Shadow is Pink.
Okay.
It just literally explains like what being a transgender girl is. Yeah, I got it from my kid around the same age.
Okay. Thank you.
It's to younger children.
All right. Thank you so much for this.
You're welcome.
I'm glad I found you guys here going through TikTok.
Thanks,
Yeah,
Angie.
awesome.
Thanks for being an awesome
All
mom.
right. No, of course.
Thank you.
All right. Bye bye.
Bye. Yeah, I think as long as you're still allowing your kid to hang out with her and you just stick with your rule, that's totally fine. At first, I thought it was just like, oh, we can't have.
Right. I wasn't sure. I'm like, oh, wait a second. I'm like, that's actually a position of consistency, which is so respectful.
Yeah. And it is. It's recognizing her identity. So,
Exactly. Well, what more could you want?
really. Dora's here. I can't let her see. Oh, God.
Yeah.
Hey, how you doing?
Great. How old are you?
How old am I?
Yeah.
I'm in my 40s.
Okay.
I'm in my
Are you
40s.
driving?
So I see the title. Yeah, if it sounds really rough, just mute me. You know what I mean?
Well,
And
actually,
I'll get the
if you're-
picture. I'm sorry.
We actually up here we have to drop you if you're driving. It's not our rule. It's the apps for safety. Can you join us another time when you're not driving? So I
Oh, it's hot. No, okay, I already pulled over. I parked.
You did? Okay. All right. You parked. That's fine. But yeah.
Yeah, so,
it's for safety.
okay, so I see the title that it says "Let Kids Be Trans."
Mhm.
Now, I don't have a problem with anyone that chooses to be something else other than their genetic birth-given body. You know, I got no problem with absolutely none of that. Nothing. I do have friends that are gay, but the thing is this: your title, "Let Kids Be Trans." Teaching them to be trans is one thing, and what I mean by that is kind of exposing them to it and forcing them to watch it, like.
Oh, okay.
What I mean by
Sure,
forcing
you pulled
is
over.
like putting it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll go to too.
It's the cars that are passing by me.
Okay. All right.
Okay. But
Yeah, but I'm on the side of the road. I'm not driving.
Okay, I respect that. Can we though just pause there for 1 second? What you're saying, because you said several things. I kind of want to address them. I want to unpack a few of them. You know, being trans, and being gay, not the same thing. You know, it's not the same. And I'm not
Yeah,
being smart.
it's not the same.
Okay, cool. You know that. Great. So
Okay, yeah. So this is my thing. Like, I don't have a problem with kids growing and they flourish into what they become in life. Now, it's fine if that's what they feel that they are. It's perfectly fine. But the thing is that when you have adults that are showing this to kids and they're saying this is okay and they're trying to put it in the schools and rub it in their faces, that's the part that I feel
okay,
it's not right. You know what I
can
mean?
we hold and dig into that a little bit? That's fine. What's being rubbed in their faces? We're talking about what do you think is being taught in schools? First of all, there's only 7 states in the country where LGBTQ issues are currently being taught, soon to be 8. But what do you think the curriculum is being taught?
That it's okay for girls to be boys. It's okay for boys to use girls' restroom. It's okay,
Oh, okay.
you know,
That's
for
Okay.
That's not what's being taught.
And that's not even what being trans is.
Right. It's more than the
No, I know that's not what being trans is, but people that
So no
are
one is
trans
saying
that
that
have
girls-
visited schools.
No one is saying what? No one is saying that girls can use the boys' restroom or boys can use the girls' restroom. No.
They tried that in our school.
If a child identifies as a girl, then she should use the girls' restroom.
No, but because technically, genetically, it's a boy, and to
No,
have to
male.
force. No.
Male.
Okay, look. If a boy identifies as a girl, a girl's rights should not be trampled because
No,
this
no.
kid decides he wants to be a girl. What about the actual girl? Like, what about her feelings?
Pure.
What
Hang on.
about how she
Pure.
feels? about it?
Hang on.
You know what I mean?
Hang on. Let's talk about it. It's fine. It's okay. We're talk about it. We have a lot to unpack. You've given us like 37 things. So going back, we need to first recognize no one's making a choice, and also you're saying there's not a problem with it. If there's no problem, education should never be an issue because there's at no point do we say with any marginalized community that we don't want to educate. Education actually helps stop violence and bullying against the marginalized community, right? Which is why education is important. Are people saying that it's okay to be who you are? Sure, but no one's convincing children to be trans any more than teaching children about any other thing from history or existence is convincing them to be that. You can't make someone something that they are not. Could someone have convinced you to be trans whenever you were younger?
Well, no, yes. Actually, I was told that it was okay to be gay. This was taught by one of the gay teachers at the school that I went to.
Gay and trans are not the same thing.
I'm sorry.
Gay and trans.
Yeah.
Okay. You keep
That's true. Yeah, gay and
they're not the same. But they're not the same. Oh, we got an echo going. Are we back now? Okay, cool. No, it's not the same thing, but they're not knowing that people exist isn't making children that thing. What we're talking about, if you're talking about education, which is not really the topic at hand, but we'll dive a little. It's talking about at young age kindergarten, family structures, knowing that a kid may have a mom and a dad, two moms, two dads. Any different combination. There could be a situation that an example where the mother is a father. It could be different examples of family structures. We're talking that a child should be able to express their representation of their family at the same age that other students are doing the same thing. We're talking about age-appropriate curriculum, integrating what is already happening with cisgender kids, the same thing. This having the same things integrated with existing curriculums, not a separate course, not a big deal. But yes, you said one part of it, teaching that if a kid's trans, that they're okay. Sure, there's nothing wrong with saying that you're okay if you are, because they're not making someone. You can't.
I said I'm okay if a child grows up and realizes that that's what they feel they are. That's fine. But when you teach it to kids or you expose it to kids, it can be very confusing to a lot of the children because then they grow up to maybe experiment and then they decide that they did the wrong thing and they feel not good with themselves.
What's wrong with exploring your gender?
What's wrong with exploring the gender? There's nothing wrong with exploring the gender if that's what you grow up to do. But when you are presenting something like this to children and they go off and explore because of what they were being taught or exposed to, and they realize that that wasn't the right thing for them, then
they go back to the other thing.
To depression and other horrible things that have happened already. I just don't think it's fair.
A person
for the
has
children. Now,
more opportunity to know who they are when they have the chance to explore who they are.
No, because we see it all over the streets. Our children see it. My kids, when we're out and about, they see guys holding hands, and they ask me, and I tell them, well, they're like the same.
Once again, this
type of person that they are.
That's not being trans.
Yeah.
You keep conflating the two, and they're not the same.
Yeah. But yeah, I'm just trying to say, okay, what I'm basically trying to say is I don't think it's fair for the children that they're being taught this or exposed to
You don't think
this at
it's
such a young age. It's something that they should grow up and realize on their own that that's what they are without it being put in front of them and being told it's okay. Like trans people grow up and that's what they feel they are and that's what they become. And I completely respect that. I have nothing against them.
What
I
if they-
completely respect them for who they feel they are. But when you guys present this to children, that's what I'm saying. It's not fair to them. It's not right.
But Pure, what if they don't grow up?
Huh?
What if they don't grow up? What if they don't make it there? What if they know exactly who they are and the bullying and depression they go through whenever they are ignored and invalidated causes them to unalive themselves? Because that is a reality. That's a definite reality.
Yes, it is. It
So
is a big reality.
Why should they wait?
No,
Why
no.
should they wait? Do you not care about them until they're an adult?
No, no. Believe me, I care about them. And if a child exposes himself that way, that hey, I feel I'm trans, by all means, be who you want to be.
It's not
But
a
it
want. And
needs
how
to
is a
come
kid who's never taught about trans people going to know that they're trans?
They're everywhere. Nobody hides.
A kid
Nobody's
can
being
know
rude about
that they're
it.
not a specific gender, but they're not going to know about the trans community if they don't learn about the trans community.
Well, actually, that'll be up to the parent to tell them, you know what, my little love, there's actually a place that I can take you to so you can learn more about it. Since you're telling me this is the way you feel, let's go. I'm going to show you what it's about. And then once that child exposes to his parents or their true feelings of how they feel, then yes, of course, let them learn about it. Let them grow into it. Let them know that they are supported, that they are loved. They're not hated. They're not gonna go through hell and back just so they can be who they are.
By you saying that they have to wait until they're older, that this should not be taught the same as any other marginalized community would be taught at an age appropriate level, is saying that you believe there's something wrong with it, and is telling that child that their parent also believes there is something wrong with it. Kids will see that.
Right, and that they can't and shit, what was I gonna say?
It's okay.
Oh, and that their existence, like no one, they don't deserve to have other children learn about them.
Their existence is welcomed. I love them. They're human.
But you don't
They're my
want
people.
anyone to
Whatever.
learn about them. You don't want other children.
No, I don't want children to be exposed to that yet. You know, it needs to come from them. You know, what I'm saying is,
Okay.
the over
You know what?
500
I'll make a deal with you. I'll make a deal with you about Pure Blood. How about this? We won't teach about trans kids if we don't teach about cis kids either.
about what?
Cis kids. That means we're not allowed to
What do
teach
you mean?
kids anything about gender at all until they're adults.
Exactly. And you know what? I would be perfectly fine with that, because a person is not going to know what they are at an age of 5, at an age of 6. You know what I mean? They don't know. All they know is that they're a kid. One day they want to play with Barbies. Next day they want to play with Ken. One day they want racing cars. Another day they want the Barbie car. It's fine. You know what I mean? There's nothing
You didn't
wrong
understand.
with that.
You didn't understand what I said at all.
That's not what being trans is.
Yeah. The point that I'm
Okay.
making is that we teach kids about gender pretty much from the moment that they're born. We affirm cis kids constantly. Why can't we also affirm trans kids?
Because trans is not a gender,
Neither is cis.
right?
Okay, what do you mean by that?
There's boy and there's girl. That's it. As far as genders go, there's boy and there's girl. But if someone feels that they are different from what they really are, I'm just saying it's okay, but let them
Can you tell me
grow
again
into
how you don't have
knowing
a
that.
problem? Can you tell me again how you don't have a problem with trans kids? Honestly,
If they exist,
It-
they exist. I have no problem with them.
but what your words aren't supporting that. And I want to encourage you. I don't know if we're going to get in this conversation, but I want to encourage you to really think about what you're saying, and just you don't have to respond right now. Just take it in, process it, think about it tonight, tomorrow, whenever you know that if you had a kid who was trans and they heard what you're saying right now, they would be hearing their father invalidating them, and that can really be harmful. And it's things like that, which I don't believe is your intention, but it's things like that that can lead to these kids self-unaliving, and that's really harmful. You know, I would hope that you don't want that result, and I want you to think
No,
about.
absolutely not.
But I want you to think about there's maybe some things you have to unpack here about why it is that you keep going back to certain phrases, and it's something you may have to unlearn. But think about why it is that you keep doing that and the impact that would have on a youth who is listening to you. If you knew who you were and your parents were telling you that you were not, what kind of an impact might that have on you? That's not a question you have to answer now. I want you to think about that.
Oh, I have a very negative reaction to that.
And just think about it. You know what I mean? I'm not going to put a position of judgment on you. I want you to think about that, about the impact it can have.
Yeah, my mind is all over the place right now.
And that's fair. Look, that's fair.
My mind's all over the place right now. Like, really, it is.
That's fair. I mean, we've given you things to think about. I hope it's been enough to challenge some of the thoughts you've had to just stop and maybe reconsider. And I'm not asking you to be a different person overnight. I'm saying think about. It's easy to say, well, hey, I have no problem with them. But then whenever you go on and say, well, this, and this, maybe there is an issue. And what issue is that? Where does it come from? But more importantly, what can you do to address it so it really doesn't impact, so it really helps these kids get to where they need to be, to live a healthy life and to feel supported.
Yeah, we just got to show them that they're accepted no matter what they are.
Yeah.
Honestly, to be completely honest, and that starts at home.
Yeah,
Yes. It really starts at home.
Can you think
not the neighbor, not the school, not nobody else telling them about it. It really starts at home.
Can I ask you a favor? Are you able to like maybe step away and think about that and come back and have a conversation with us in a week or so and see how you're feeling? If you have any questions.
Yeah, you got it.
Okay.
Cool.
Yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and look you guys up in a bit.
Cool. I appreciate it.
Sounds good.
Thank you for having me on your live. You're awesome.
Yeah. Thank you.
Bye.
You got it. Bye bye.
Where's all your patience coming from, Bish?
I don't know. This has been hitting me the past week. I've just been in a really patient mood, and I don't know why. Look, trust me, I'll get spicy, but I'd rather
Burn
not.
all trans kids. Burn all trans kids. Burn them.
Why would you think that would be okay?
Right. But protect the kids, right? All right.
Damn. Anyway, hi Adora, hi Bish. All right, so we are out of opposition requests. My eye's gooey.
Maybe people want to hear fights, but maybe that's not what you're always going to get. Yeah.
Oh, that kid. Shit
Why? Why can I have been folding this laundry for how long, and there's not that much laundry. I just keep sitting down and forgetting because that's what I do.
I finally did my dishes, and then I started my dishwasher and forgot like it makes noise, and I'm like, damn it, now I gotta leave my kitchen.
Oh my god, how many times have I rewashed that load in the laundry? How many times? I'm gonna dry it right now. Right now, sorry, I'm muting.
I do that all the time. Let's see here. Oops. Okay. All right. The next few days, I should be able to go live at least once a day. I don't have any times. It'll be random because it's me, but I should be around for a few days. And if you don't like me, you don't need to watch.
Exactly. That's the nice thing, guys. There's an unfollow button.
I was telling Mel about this night, Adora, that I yesterday I ended up on the wrong side of TikTok somehow. Like everything on my suggested lives, I'm like, no, why? You know what I did? I just held my finger on the screen for a second and said, not interested, not interested.
Yeah.
And I moved on.
That's simple.
Yep, moved on with my life, and that's it. There we go. I am relieved that these clothes don't smell bad because vinegar works.
Yeah, it's awesome.
An echo chamber. We want to have opinions in here. We want to have people have thoughts. I'm just doing laundry.
Tomorrow, I need to actually work on laundry. That's my thing for tomorrow. If I can be awake.
Oh shoot! I have to do the bed laundry. Damn it, Janet.
Hello.
Hello?
Hi. How old are you?
22?
All right. What's up?
I disagree.
All right. That's it.
It's not right. It's kind of inappropriate, very, very inappropriate, and it's not right.
What's not right? To be trans?
When a doctor sees a baby come out as a male or female, they're always going to be a male and female. There's only two genders. There's not another gender. Just
Male and
two.
female are sexes.
What?
There's a difference between gender and sex.
Yeah, two.
No.
Sex, two. Gender, two. That's it. That's all you're gonna get. If you want to love like a man and a woman and a woman, then okay. Nobody else needs to know. Just you be you. But
Nobody else needs
for
to know.
kids, that's just messed up. That's just evil.
Ew, that is so cute. What are you talking about? What?
Let kids be trans. Okay, so
You said if there's a
because
man,
they're
a
being
man
brain
and a
rotted
woman,
by
they
evil
just don't need to-
mindsets.
Hi. Hello. Hello. Hi. Okay. So what did you say about like gay couples? They need to what, not go outside and be gay?
When did I say that?
You didn't exactly say that.
Yeah, okay, so that's what you thought, not me.
What did you say?
I said if men want to be with a man, then okay, that's really up to them. But they don't.
Yeah, what's that have to do with the topic?
Out into the world and spread.
They don't need to go out into the world.
person.
Okay, I know this is not the topic, but if you can't even like allow like lesbians to exist out in the world.
No, they can. It's not gonna be me. It's not gonna be me. That's gonna be them. But if you guys are gonna make up like pride flags and be like, oh, let's.
Oh
make
no,
kids
we have
transgenders.
flags.
Oh God, come on now.
Look
Look,
what
I
your
was just-
sign says.
I was happily folding my laundry.
That's not cool.
Okay, I have a question for you. I'm being genuine. What's the harm of a flag?
The harm.
Yeah. What's the harm of a flag? It's fabric, it's colors. What's the harm?
Have you seen what the color means?
Well, actually, do you know what the color means? Let's talk about it. Let's talk about the flag. Which flag specifically are you talking about?
Satanism.
Well, I'm sorry, that's a very different flag.
I've
I'm
seen
one of those.
a lot of trans people say, "Oh, we're gonna make this flag for Satan."
Yeah, hail fucking Satan.
And I disapprove.
Awesome. Cool for that.
The rainbow was taken from the 7 color of the rainbow of God's promise.
Yeah,
and
God.
God,
I don't know if you-
6 colors.
I don't know if you know this. I
So you
don't
can
know if you know
see the
this.
rainbow color as
Don't
in
know if you're
6
aware.
colors.
Don't know if you're aware. God did not copyright or trademark the rainbow. You think he would have, but here's the
Satan
thing.
did.
Okay, so here's the thing. The pride flag, because I'm going to do education, we can do that.
Yeah, see,
Do
pride.
you know when the pride flag started?
I actually don't care about the pride flag.
Okay,
Just
well,
there's a meaning
I'm
for
going to educate
pride.
people anyhow. Cool. So here's some education for you. It's for free. You're welcome. The pride flag was from 1978. So in 1968 was Stonewall. It was an uprising in New York City whenever the police were violently attacking queer people in a bar in the village called Stonewall. And finally, after this happening for a long time, the LGBT community started fighting back against the police who were violently attacking them. And that was one of the first uprisings that we had. 10 years later, in 1978, an artist named Gilbert Baker was commissioned by Harvey Milk to create the pride flag. The pride flag was originally 8 colors. It included hot pink and turquoise. One of the colors of dye was too expensive, and the other one they decided to cut so it would be even to have 3 colors on each side of the street. So they went with red, orange, yellow, green, blue, and purple. Those colors were chosen not to represent Satan or anything else. They were chosen to represent magic, art, healing, and other concepts like that. Later on today, we have the pride flags over the past 5 years have evolved with the progress flag, which adds in the BIPOC community, trans colors, and also non-binary people. So that's your education on the pride flags. And we have those flags as representation of our community so we can be proud, remember the things we fought against and stand up that we have to keep fighting against, and be proud of who we are as we fight against the adversity of people like you, maybe. You know what I mean? That's it, but I'm glad I could share that
Kids. Why kids?
Why kids?
Because kids exist.
Yeah,
queer
kids.
exist.
Beautiful children, male and female.
Yes,
shouldn't
I
be
was
knowing
a
about
beau-
this stuff.
I was a beautiful male child as well.
At an
Slow
age,
toaster.
what
It turns out
age do you
that
think it's
queer
right for them to
kids
know this stuff
exist.
yet?
Who knew? Queer kids exist.
Queer kids.
Yeah.
Now that's just being a bully.
What?
How is that being a bully?
You're calling kids queers. There's going to be queer kids out there. No
Some
kids.
queer kids. Yeah, some kids are queer.
I was one of them. What are you talking about? Yes.
Okay, then that's just sad for you, but you don't need to make these other kids fucking queers.
How am I sad and
Hey, the way that you're using that word right now is the problem.
yeah.
Okay, but you're the problem saying let kids be
Not-
trans.
No, that is not the way that Adora used that term.
Yeah, but the term of letting kids be trans, that's way out of pocket than just
Some
the F
kids
word.
are trans, and that's just a fact. And whether or not you
Yeah,
want
but
to
it's disgusting and it's sad. It's very, very emotional to see this generation
What's sad is people that are hateful to children. That's the
not
sad.
hateful. It's being love and caring.
That's not love and caring when you're using the slurs and the words that you're using and the tone that you're using them in. There's nothing loving about that.
We're
There's
all
nothing
adults
loving.
here.
Okay, right. We're talking about children, and you're being disrespectful and hateful to children's existence. And
Towards children, or is that you?
towards what?
Towards children, or is that you? I'm trying to back up my generation because this little generation, it's the last generation, and if it gets worse and worse, we're done. I don't want that. I don't want that
What
even
are
for
you
my
talking
family
about?
at all.
What?
This is wild. Okay, so do you? Okay, so Slow, do you have any genuine questions that we can help you answer, or things that we can clarify for you, or do you just want to do this? Because it's just fine if you do, but do you have any real questions or no?
My question is, why can't you guys just leave kids be what they want?
That's
their
what we're
future.
trying to do.
Be
It's
what they
you
want.
stepping in the way
If
of
they want
that.
to pick trans, then okay.
Great. I'm glad we agree. Thank you
Their
for your
future.
time. Cool.
God, that shit.
Well, let's keep that on a positive note too. Let kids be exactly who they are and who they want to be. There we go.
So frustrating. They kicked me out because I'm right. Yeah, you were right about that. Let kids be kids.
Yep. Jake, we're gonna have a good conversation, right, Jake? Jake, hello. Are you there, Jake? Let us know your age if you can hear, please.
I don't like trans people.
Okay, well, thank you, Jake.
Fish, you were wrong.
I was hopeful.
Damn.
Hopeful. Big Frank, how's it going?
Doesn't matter. I gotta reset.
All right.
Big Frank, or whatever your name was. If you want to come back, you can follow. I'll be back in just a second. I gotta reset. I got a fucking flag again. So I'll be right back.
All right.
I know I don't mess with too much makeup, Mel. You're gonna go to bed soon. Talking to myself. It's hard not to put makeup on when I'm just sitting here because it's fun. But I should get like a canvas to paint on or something.
So I don't have any makeup on right now, so well, besides for the glitter I just put in the corner of my eyes. W, Edith. Okay, sure. All right, so tap the screen, share the live. Let's try this again. For the third time. Well, it just wasn't relevant, Edith. It wasn't relevant to the live. Like, what did you do? Exist? W. I don't know. All right, let's keep tapping away. I don't know where Bish, if Bish is doing his. Okay, cool.
Hello.
Hello. Edith is always relevant. Okay. How old are you?
28. I don't see why that matters, but.
It matters because I don't want to talk to children.
Alright, anyways, my son was born a boy at birth and is gonna stay that way.
Oh, God.
I'm just saying. I'm not. That's how I grew up. Is there's only 3 different types of shit that go through is straight, bi, and gay.
What? Those are sexualities that have nothing to do with gender.
That's how I grew up. I didn't grow up with this trans.
Right. So just because you grew up not understanding what being trans is doesn't mean it didn't
I
exist.
didn't say I didn't understand it. I said I didn't grow up with it.
Right. What is being trans then?
Means I don't give a fuck.
You're not going to give a fuck about your kid if they're trans? Okay, bye. God, these parents are so frustrating. Any child can be part of the LGBTQ community without any type of exposure, without any type of education, without anything. They just are, period. God, so frustrating. Let's see if we can get someone else. Hello?
So what is a trans kid? I'm trying to understand.
How old are you?
32.
Okay, it's a kid whose gender identity develops incongruent from their sex assigned at birth.
Now, how do you measure that?
We don't measure it. What do you mean by measure it?
How do you know if a kid is trans?
They typically will say it, actually.
Oh, that's my bad. I was trying to turn my own microphone off. I apologize. I was trying to turn mine off, not yours. That was all me.
You muted them. Whoops.
I'm going to mute myself now. Take 2.
So if a kid says, I'm trans, then they're trans.
Well, it it's going to depend on the conversation that you're having with a child. The age of the child, if they've been insistent, persistent, and consistent with their identity, or if they are a teenager and they say, I'm trans, you probably could believe them. But if they're 3 and they say, I'm trans, they probably don't understand what that is. But if they give indications that they may not be the gender that they assume you assumed they are, that could be more of an indication. But just saying the words, I'm trans, is not typically what we're looking for.
So at what age could you know that my child is trans?
I wouldn't know that your child is trans. What age your child can know that they are trans or that they have an incongruence between their gender identity and their sex could be at any age. They can start to recognize this around the age of 3. Their gender identity is typically fully developed by the age of 7, anywhere in there. Or sometimes children don't even figure it out until they get closer to puberty.
So if my 7-year-old consistently says, I'm a girl, I'm a woman, I feel like a girl, then I'm supposed to, then that makes them trans, and it's time to start taking puberty blockers, etc.
No. Being trans, like you don't necessarily get to any type of medical steps. It's actually very rare. With most children, all you would need to do is they would want to change their hairstyle, their clothing, maybe their name and pronouns. Especially at 7, that's about all you're gonna get. But I have to reset again because I got fucking flagged. If you guys stop targeting me, that would be awesome.
Again?
Yeah, and it was me. It wasn't the guest. It was me.
I got flagged directly earlier today.
I'll be right back. Hello, let's do this again. Really annoying, guys. Really annoying. Do you have any kids? Yes, I have 2. Thanks, Kay. That's TikTok, but I appreciate it. Did you hear that? Did you guys hear that sound? It's my cats. They're playing. I got a warning. It's what we consider flagged. All right. So friendlies are back. Let's keep tapping the screen. See if we can get the views back up. Do you think bigender is a real thing? Yeah. I think all identities are valid. I don't know what you're talking about, Edith. Aw, thanks, Katie. Appreciate that. Bigender, I think, I don't know exactly. Hello.
Hello.
Is it, okay, bigender is a person whose gender identity is a combination of more than one gender, or sometimes one gender and sometimes another gender. Oh, so it can be also interchanged with gender fluid. So.
I am looking for a snack, and right now I'm looking at broccoli. Who hurt me?
Like raw?
Yeah, I have. I don't know if you know if you have it. They're Bold House Farms dressings. They're like made out of yogurt. They're classic ranch, and it's actually like really good because most like healthy air quote ranch dressings taste like a crime. It's actually really good. It's actually really yummy. Yeah. Oh yeah. I have to dip it. I'm not a monster. I'm not going to chew on a head of broccoli.
I like broccoli. I do.
Okay, fine. I'm doing broccoli. This is my life, huh? You get married and you eat fucking broccoli.
That doesn't make any sense, but okay.
Oh no.
That guy, you've been here before, but I don't remember.
Hey, how are you?
All right. How old are you?
Oh, it's Adora.
Hello.
How you been, bro?
Who are you talking to?
Yeah,
You, man.
come on now.
I assume you mean me, bruh.
It's not you. It's Adora. Adora.
Okay.
She's the one that she has an open live as well, too.
Okay. So we want to talk about.
Let kids not be trans.
Okay, and why would that be?
Just for the simple fact that they're kids.
Yeah, trans kids are kids as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, but you can do that transition after you're 18.
You don't have to
After
transition.
you're legally an adult.
Sure, it's a common misconception, that guy. But you've been in my lives before. You already know this.
Yes, but
None of this is new to you. So
You've been here too.
yeah, so that's why I'm trying to advocate for.
no, you're not. No, you're not. Don't.
Yes, I
you're
am.
you're bullshitting right now.
I'm not bullshitting.
You already know that trans kids exist. You already know that being transgender does not require transitioning. Either that, or you just do not listen at all when you come up.
It's like, guys, understand that, look, just for the simple fact that you guys have transition and your guys' lives are okay, that does not mean that everybody's life goes out the same. So you got to give that immaturity time to mature.
Okay. Can I ask the same question? I haven't talked to you before, so I'll swing. Can I ask the same question I asked others? What do you really care about kids having the best access to care and to be taken care of to address anything going on in their lives?
The what? Repeat that again?
Do you think that kids should have access to health care to take care of any issues they may have?
Yeah, like if they're sick, if they have like a crippled toe, like yeah.
Okay.
Of course.
Okay.
But no general surgery, no genitalia surgery, none of that.
Oh my God, we're not talking about surgery. That guy, again, you're not new to this.
You're really not. You're not.
You said you're advocating. What are you advocating for specifically?
Advocating for at least to them to understand what their body wants, to understand their actual needs. Like if they need that to be trans after 18, if they want to transition, that's great.
What if we've not only have we had this conversation before, but we've literally said it multiple times in this conversation right here, right now. You do not have to transition to be trans.
I understand, but there's other individuals that believe that they need to transition to be trans.
They're wrong. You don't have to transition to be trans.
What the hell does that have to do with anything anyway? They are wrong, right? And we're advocating for children to have individualized care, no matter what that looks like for that individual child.
Yes, but that individual care should be after they're 18.
Okay. What if they don't make it there?
What do you mean they don't make it there? Of course they have to make it there.
If they self-unalive, what do we do then? Because that's a real
because
issue.
unaliving it's a pretty coward way to go out, or it's a
Wow.
Yes, like if you unalive yourself, like because
I'm sorry, I'm a really patient person tonight, but
Yeah.
can we not? Yeah, I'm trying, and it's not good, Adora. I'm trying so hard. It's not, can we not tell children who are so distressed that they are consider unaliving themselves that they are cowards? Whenever you're saying you want to advocate for children and you are calling children going through things, you're calling them cowards. That is really telling and harmful. That's a lot. That's a lot. I don't know why you would say that about kids. Look, here's the thing. People may disagree on things. I understand there's going to be disagreements in the world. I would think that everyone could say that we want the best interests of people, and we need to realize that what people frequently hang on to in trans conversations is surgeries and things they don't know about. If we can clarify things about that, which it seems like it's been done to you many times, you would have to at some point say, hey, maybe the parents and the doctors and that child know better who they are, and maybe we don't actually bully the kids. That's it. I don't know what to say.
Period.
I agree with the bullying. Maybe
But you just call children cowards. You just call children who may unalive themselves cowards. You are the bully in that case, right?
No,
You see that?
brother. I did not call kids.
You literally did.
If you unalive, I said if you unalive yourself, that's if you're an adult and you comprehend what you're doing. But if you're being bullied and that pushed you into unaliving yourself, it's completely different. So don't put words in.
Whoa.
No,
God,
no, no.
You are off the deep end.
I'm going to hold you to that one. Absolutely not. We were talking the entire time about children. I said, what would you do when those kids don't make it to 18? So don't try and spin the conversation that you're a martyr now. That you're talking about, oh, no, I meant adults. You absolutely did not. You know what you said. You know, and
But I didn't put it with the word kids. I didn't say the word kids.
Kids. We were talking about kids that aren't making it to the age of 18. So I don't know why you're claiming that you were talking about adults. You were not.
I honestly, I really meant adults. I didn't mean kids. Okay. But at the same time, guys,
I'm good. I'm sorry. I apologize. I apologize. I've been.
If that's what you meant either way, then you didn't answer what if these kids don't make it, which doesn't make any sense. That makes zero sense if that's what you meant.
And also, it's also not okay to call an adult who is a coward either. So you're saying, hey, I didn't mean kids, which you didn't mean. I just meant adults. That is also problematic too. I would hope if I can, maybe my patience, what I'm trying to do right now, I can hope that we would see more compassion in the world. I would just really, really, really want to see compassion, and that's just not it.
No, and to have people really need a very basic understanding of like mental health, right? Yeah. And like how if someone has like self-unaliving ideation, child, adult, whoever you are, that you deserve access to any type of help that you need. It doesn't mean you're a coward or you're weak or anything like that. That is so fucking harmful.
And Melanador, I apologize. I was not trying to speak over you two. I have just done a lot of work with in the past with unaliving, and that is just something that I felt very passionate to speak on. I do apologize that I wasn't trying to speak over.
You're fine.
No, that was good.
He actually re-requested, so I just blocked him. I blocked him. He's gone.
I'm good. No thanks.
So anyway, we don't have anybody else to talk to. If anybody else wants to come in and talk about the topic, we are looking for calm discussions we can manage. No one is promising anything, though.
Sorry, I'm just sitting here chewing on my broccoli.
No, a commenter told me to go away. I have to go away now.
Okay.
Right.
Bye. Anyone want me to go away too? Go away with my broccoli. Go sit in a corner.
I love when people yell at me and they're like, "Get off my F1." Like, I didn't put myself there. I didn't do it. It wasn't me. But you can get rid of me by not interacting in my lives, blocking me.
Oh, I'm sorry, Jesse. Could you hear me chewing the broccoli? I'm so sorry. I thought I muted. It's an aggressive broccoli munch. Whoopsies. Uh-oh.
It sounds like broccoli.
Hello.
Hi, how old are you?
I'm 33.
Great, cool. What's up?
So I've been following you and Dora for a while now. Mm-hmm. First of all, I'd like to know, how do you guys handle all the hate? I mean, it's kind of brutal.
This is some days better than others.
I mean, I'm an empath, so like I feel like everything. And I mean, sometimes I want to join you guys' live because I want to show support. And it's crazy. Like right now, they were going crazy in the comments saying you're hexing people. I'm not entirely sure what that's about.
It's wild. I mean, it's the harassment is persistent. It doesn't go away. You can handle it or you can't.
I guess my other thing is I was wondering, Mel, if you could share. I don't know how much like your daughter is comfortable with you sharing, but I'd just like to hear a little more about like your daughter's story, like when she decided that she was. I don't want to misterm anything because I'm still learning, but.
Yeah, no, she's given me permission to share basics of her story. So Yeah, so she was 13. She came to her father and I. Well, she sent us a message and was like, "Can we talk?" I was like, "Sure." It took her like 45 minutes to actually get out of her mouth what she wanted to say. So by the time that she said that she was not a boy, I was relieved. I don't know I didn't know what she was going to say. Like, she was obviously had very high anxiety over whatever it was. So I was like, oh, thank God. So I asked, like, what do you need from us? Right. And she already knew that she wanted, a name change, pronoun change. She wanted clothing. She wanted to grow her hair out. Which was fine. This was very late at night. So we talked about that, and then we're like, okay, well, we'll talk more about this tomorrow. So then the next day, I kind of had an absolute mental breakdown, not because she was trans, but because of the understanding and the I realized at that moment that the society that we lived in, I had already been talking, we lived in Texas at the time, so the legislation was already being proposed to, ban gender affirming care. They even had, to charge parents who were supporting transgender children with child abuse. So then when I realized that my kid was part of this group and what she was going to have to deal with, when that hit me, that was really hard. But once I got through that, I was like, okay, I got this. I can do this. I reached out to a friend online, actually. She helped me. She talked to me about gender affirming care, how I needed to do that. So I told my daughter that I was going to reach out to the pediatrician, see what they recommended. And they got us in contact with a therapist and endocrinologist. And like I said, she was 13 at the time. She's now 15. It'll be 2 years in June since she came out. So I don't know.
Is it hard for your husband to accept, if you don't mind me asking?
No, it actually wasn't. And I think it's because of the timing of things. I had already started learning about trans people a little bit, actually on TikTok, funny enough. I was watching some lives before she came out. And like I said, the legislation in Texas really had me start looking into like what being trans was, because it just sounded like it was really messed up to me. So because I already had like a pretty good understanding, I told him, and I talked to him about the legislation. So he was actually really supportive as well. It hasn't been hard on him at all.
So I have, just to kind of, the reason I'm asking these questions and stuff, I have 3 kids. I have 2 boys that are autistic, and then I have a 5-year-old daughter. So, I mean, our 5-year-old has said certain things, but it's in brushing. It's like, or in passing. It's not like, we're at that point, I feel, where it's serious or we need to have a conversation with her. But the reason I ask these questions is because my husband is just very, like, I don't know how to explain it. I wouldn't say there's hate. Like, he doesn't feel that it shouldn't exist. He just kind of like, I don't know how to explain it without him coming off as a rude person. I guess more or less, like, he doesn't know a lot about it, and like I try and talk to him about it. But like, for example, our daughter was sleeping in our bed the other night, and I tried talking to him a little bit about it, and he's like, I'm not okay with this conversation with her here. And I'm like, she's sleeping. Like, do you think it's gonna infect her? Like, it's gonna get into her while she's sleeping, and then she's gonna have this idea? Like, so I'm trying to figure out a way to maybe get him to understand, like, hey, if one day our child does come to us, like, so that way it's not so sudden for him. And then, like, I don't want there to be a disconnect between maybe my child and her dad. And I also just kind of want to, like, help educate him, but not push it, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I mean, he really has to be open to it. And that can be the kind of the hard part, right? Because my husband was still like, he was still kind of resistant to like sports, just again, because he just didn't have an understanding of it. And with me being on this app, like I learned a lot. So I just kind of put that information on him, like get him to understand, right? But he was open to it. So I think it's a little bit different. But I think one of the first things to get people to understand is that being transgender is just natural and normal, right? It's not an adult decision where a lot of people think. And that if you do affirm your child, you're not locking them in, right? Like there's this idea that if you affirm your kid, like that's it. They're trans, they're never going back, like, and you did that, right? And a lot of people feel like that's kind of on them when it's not, right? Because we're just talking about like supporting your kids through their journey, whatever that looks like to them, whether they're exploring their gender, whether they're just exploring their gender expression, right? So they could still be a boy that like expresses themselves femininely or whatever it is. And that those things could change over time, and that's okay. Like you just keep continuing to support them through the entire process. That if you affirm a child, it doesn't mean that they're going to have to get a surgery or that they'll ever even want surgery. You're just treating them like where they're at the time. So when it comes to, I think that's one of the biggest things, right? It's not an adult decision. It's not a decision at all. In learning about like, sometimes there was like a really basic analogy that someone used, that I heard that actually got me to understand, was just like, if you took your brain is who you are, right? Mm-hmm. It's not about your body. So if you took your brain and put it in another like gender or another gendered body, like if I put my brain in a man's body, I know that I would be uncomfortable with that, right? Like that to me would be weird. And I'd be like, no, I don't want this. Like, this is not supposed to be my body because that's not how my brain is perceiving myself.
Right.
And that can be a way for someone who is cisgender to understand sort of what it is to be transgender.
And I guess my other thing is, like, I feel that this is my opinion, I want to, in a sense, educate my kids some, so that way, if they do come across something, like we're out and about and they come across something or they see something, it's not such a shock, or they don't act in like a rude manner, or, oh my God, what's that? Like, I don't ever want my kids to, make somebody else feel uncomfortable, or, in their own skin, especially because that's them representing who they are. And so I feel, educating and promoting that love is love, like how people want to be, it's how people want to be. Like, I'm an amputee. I've had 3 amputations on my left leg. So I always try and tell my children, like, mommy's now different, because I didn't always have this. It was just recent, but mommy's now different, and like it drives mommy crazy when we go in public and people stare or they gawk or they look at me like I'm some freak show. It's the people that like stare and just like keep staring or break their neck. It's like, okay, I have a missing leg. I know I'm 33. I know it's strange to see, but like, let's move on, guys. So I don't ever want my kids to, especially because I myself have felt uncomfortable by things like that, I don't want my kids to do that to someone else. But the thing that I struggle with sometimes is I find like my husband, like he doesn't want like the LGBT, like he doesn't want me talking about any of that like around our kids at all, which, I mean, I can understand to a point, but at the same time, like if we don't educate and we don't share, then they are going to be blindsided.
I used to kind of think the same thing, and I think for me, I don't know if your husband was raised in like a religious family, but I was, and I was under the impression as well that if you like taught children about the LGBTQ community, that they could become part of it.
That's kind of how my husband's thinking right now.
Yeah, like, that's not the case. Like your kids are going to be part of it or not, and that's it.
Right.
And, I wish I would have had an understanding of that. So I would have actually taught my children about this earlier. But it is what it is. Like, I didn't. I support them now. So I think that might be the first thing that you have to start with your husband is trying to get him to understand, or just be like, would you be open to like learning a little more about this? Like, we can't prevent our kids from being part of the community. They either are or they're not. They will just develop this way, or they won't. Like, it doesn't matter if you teach it to them. And I think with you talking about your own experience and trying to teach your children empathy, that maybe you can somehow relate the topics together. Have you tried that with him?
I tried talking to him about that the other day, because I'm like, the LGBT community is becoming a huge thing. They're doing a lot of fighting for their community. It's being brought up a lot because, of course, we do live in Florida, unfortunately. Yeah. So, I mean, it's obviously brought up a lot around here because, there's a lot of people that are fighting for their rights and fighting to be who they want to be, which I respect and I 100% support. And I'm not saying like he doesn't support that, because he's always said, you want to love whoever you want to love, you want to be whoever you want to be, like, you do you. But I just think like when it comes to our kids, he's just so worried that, oh my God, if we talk about this around them, then they're going to automatically be trans, or they're going to automatically be gay or lesbian or bisexual or whatever it may be. And yeah. I don't personally necessarily agree with that. I mean, I understand that, we don't need to be going to our 5-year-old necessarily and having all these conversations right at this moment. But I do think like it's important to encourage that, hey, love is love. Because like she came to me the other day saying that one of her classmates, that's a girl, had kissed her. And she's like being all silly and weird about it. And I'm like, okay, well, if you were uncomfortable about it and you didn't want your space invaded, like you have a right to tell people, this is my space, don't invade my space. Like I tried to, let her know, like.
Yeah, she should be giving consent to that, right?
Yeah,
like,
so. I mean, there's things like that I think that she needs to know, but at the same time, like, I want to encourage her and let her know, like, hey, you might see that when we're out and about. You might see, a girl and a girl holding hands, or a guy and a guy holding hands, or whatever it might be. And that's okay. And we're not going to stare. We're not going to be rude. If you have questions, you can obviously ask me any question you want. But they're people, just like mommy is. We're just trying to be who we are.
Right. And some kids will have 2 mommies, and some kids have 2 daddies, and some kids have mommies and daddies, and some kids are raised by their grandparents. Like, you keep it really basic for kids, right? And maybe it's tough. Because like I said, my husband and I were on the same page because we were raised the same way. And then we both kind of became open to things at the same time. So I know that's kind of a weird like scenario that doesn't typically happen.
Yeah, I was raised extremely religious. I was also, because I was raised in the 90s. So I was raised where, like, people were hiding being gay and they didn't feel comfortable being gay. Or if you did hear about it, my parents were like, oh, well, just don't hang around those people. You are who you hang out with, kind of thing.
Yeah.
And, I mean, I don't agree
keep
with
that in the bedroom. I always heard that. Yeah. So yeah, I mean, there are children's books on these topics too that can give you a really basic understanding. Because when it comes to like teaching young children about what being trans is, typically all you have to say is something like, you may meet another kid someday that you knew as what you thought was a boy, but now they're a girl and they use different pronouns. They may go by she, her. They may change their name, and they may start to change their appearance, and that's okay, right? Like, you just keep it really basic. Like, you don't have to teach children about gender affirming care. You don't need to teach children about surgeries or about genitalia or anything like that. It really doesn't have anything to do with that. It's really basic when it comes to kids.
Yeah, I think that's another thing that a lot of people that follow you or join in on your lives kind of forget. Like, your slogan says, let kids be trans, but it doesn't mean like, hey, we're talking, let's encourage bottom surgery and top surgery, and let's encourage all these things. So I think you're just trying to encourage, like, let's support our kids so that we don't have so many kids feeling alone and unaliving themselves, or because like I was that kid, like I was in the 90s, so I mean, you know, unaliving and mental health wasn't really talked about, and oh my god, it was shunned upon. I will never forget telling my dad and him just like laughing at me and being like, oh, you're just trying to get attention. And I'm like, okay, nope, definitely not. But so I mean, I just think that we just need to remember this is all about supporting our kids so that we do have less mental health issues, or less where they feel they have to be secretive. And if they're being secretive, then they feel so alone. And if they feel so alone, then, you know, it just all the struggles.
Yeah, and they feel broken. They feel like something's wrong with them, right? And then the fact that not only can they not talk about themselves, right, but they have people advocating to not even talk about them. Like, people saying that, like, I don't want anyone to talk about you. I don't want anyone to talk about trans kids. I don't want anybody to talk about trans people in school when there's a trans child existing in school. You know,
that to me is mind blowing. Like, how is that not encouraging so much negativity and hate? And how is that also not encouraging? Like, you never know. And I always try and tell my kids this. Like, if somebody's being mean to you or being a bully, you know, obviously stand up for yourself. But I'm like, you never know what that person might be going through. You never know if they're just having a bad day or something. Like, and I always encourage them never to be a bully or never to be nasty to someone, because you never know if like your negative words or nastiness would send them over the edge, God forbid. And it's just nothing anyone has to say is worth that. I mean, and I, like, for example, not that long ago in Florida, there was a drag queen that went to a school and read a story, a simple story, wasn't an inappropriate story, wasn't anything like that. But oh my Lord, you would think that it was the end of the world. You would think that it was some pedophiles that was reading a story to all these children. I mean, let's focus on the actual creeps and the actual bad.
Yeah, it's just a misunderstanding. Like, it is. It's hateful. It's based in ignorance. And like you said, if you want your children to not be like, because the thing is we don't. Sometimes children don't like purposefully like bully or hate on someone, right? It's just when they don't have an understanding, when they haven't been taught, we as humans tend to reject things that are different from us, right? So teaching them when they're young, like about these things, again, very basic, can just cause them to be like more empathetic, compassionate little people, right? And that's what we should want for our kids. And I don't know if maybe that's the approach you should take with your husband. Be like, it's not necessarily about like whether or not your kids are part of the community, but you want your kids to be able to accept and treat all people with kindness and respect. And you can't just do that without actually telling them what the differences are.
Yeah, and I would like for one day there to not be necessarily the word community. I would like for one day, like, the LGBT community to just be people. Like, we're just people and we're accepted. Everybody accepts everybody. Obviously, this is a pipe dream. Like, I mean, I know that we are a long way away from that, but I'm just saying, like, I know, or I would love for that to happen. And if that happens, or the more that they fight for their rights and things like that, and to just be who they are, like, I want my kids to not be some of these, you know, nasty, negative people that come in here and talk the nasty crap that they talk, or, you know, don't understand, or if God forbid, you know, they have kids one day and let's say their kids grew up and need that support or become trans or whatever it might be. I want them to be able to handle it and support their kids or support their community or the people around them. I don't want them to be negative and nasty. I want them to understand people are people. We may not agree with what certain people are doing or how they do it or how they represent or whatever, but it doesn't mean we can't support everyone and be kind and caring.
Yeah.
I don't know how you guys do it. I mean, you guys, I don't know how you do it. I really don't. I mean, kudos to you guys, because I think that these discussions need to be had. Like, I've learned a lot just from you. I've learned a lot from Adora, which I appreciate you both for that, because I mean, I'm not sitting here saying that like I know everything and all of that. I'm still learning. I mean, there's still so much to learn. I still catch myself maybe using wrong terminology or things like that. And it is sometimes hard, like if, you know, somebody approaches you and you're having a conversation and you don't necessarily know what their pronouns are. So sometimes that is a little difficult because you don't want to use their wrong use the wrong pronouns. But I do appreciate you guys, and I appreciate what you guys do, because I think that it just all boils down to we just need to support our kids, because I think that it's so crazy to me, all these people that want to scream hate and think that like what you guys are doing is so wrong and whatnot. Why are we not worried about the government having control over what we do and don't do? Like, that should be a bigger concern. Like, when we have men or the government and old guys that are controlling, you know, what we can and cannot do with our bodies or who we can and cannot be, I think that's a little more concerning, because last time I checked, we are land of the free, or so I thought.
Are we?
Yeah. Yeah, that's
get into that whole discussion, but
well, a lot of times though, it just comes down to people not even like, if it doesn't affect them, they don't care, right? Like, oh, it doesn't affect me. Like, I'm not trans. My kids aren't trans. I'm not part of the LGBTQ. I'm not a minority. You know. Mm-hmm. And it is very problematic. But yeah, that's definitely an issue. And when it comes to Florida, right? Like you being in Florida,
I'm just glad that he stopped trying to run for president. Let's just put that. Like, so glad that happened, because I mean,
he wasn't tall enough to ride that ride.
Listen, I may live in Florida, but I do not like Florida. I hate Florida. But unfortunately, I have disabled kids, and we have special doctors and things like that, and it'd just be hard to move. But yeah, Florida's a tricky one, and it's hard, and it's sometimes scary, and I don't want, like, and I've tried explaining to my husband too. Do you want our kids growing up with hatred or with, you know, misinformation so that they might be mean or negative or nasty to somebody? Like, you're worried about me bringing up the LGBT community necessarily around them because, oh my God, maybe they'll be gay or lesbian or whatever. But let's also worry about the fact that we have so much hate in our state and surrounding this topic. Like, I just want, because I mean, there's a lot of protests. I don't know how much you guys know, but there's a lot of protests that are going on in high schools and things like that. Like, I just don't want my kids to be blindsided when they're in high school and they meet a really cool gay kid or a really cool trans kid or whatever it may be. I just don't want them to join in on the negative, nasty side of Florida because of all the negative they hear.
And when they're younger, the younger they are, the easier it actually is to teach them about these things. Because when you grow up and you have a bias because you haven't been taught, or you just aren't, you know, you haven't been around anyone in the community, that's when like that willful ignorance can come in. Like, you can be ignorant, sure, but then a lot of people become closed-minded and they remain that way. So, and it's much harder to unpack that stuff when you're an adult. Just why your husband's having a hard time with it, why he doesn't want to talk about it, right?
Yeah. I remember when I was a kid and feeling very alone because, you know, I liked boys and I liked girls. So, again, this is the 90s, so there just wasn't talk of that. There wasn't a term. There wasn't, oh my God, if you don't like anything other than the opposite sex, then watch out, you know, you're a sin, you're this, you're that, because you know how it was in the 90s and stuff. Like, it just, so I remember how alone that was, and I just don't ever want my children to feel that way. Like, whether they do become part of the community, they don't, whether they just support, whatever it may be, I just always want them to know that I will fight with them and I support them. But I'm going to end this because I know you have other people that are probably requesting, but hopefully it's ending on a good note and you don't have any more negative comments.
Well, we'll see.
No.
Well, good luck with everything.
But I don't know how to exit out of this either, so you're going to have to kick me out. Thanks,
All right,
guys. Much support.
This thing, it even changed things on me. That was weird. Anyway, that was a good guest. W guest.
It was. Sorry I wasn't really present.
Oh, you're fine. It was a good conversation. I think it's important to just be teaching our kids about the community and you know, we do advocate for it to be taught in schools, but you know, that's not the case right now. And what was it you said, Bish? There's going to be an 8th state?
About to be 8 states, yeah. There are 7 states where LGBTQ is taught in the curriculum. About to be 8. I think it's available on GLSEN, GLSEN. The details about that and what the curriculum entails. Yeah.
Yeah,
Look,
so that's 7 states.
Ultimately, we all need to remember, you know, why we're here and why we're doing this. We know how dangerous this upcoming election can be. No matter where you stand in the LGBTQ community, hey, accessories. You know, we know how serious this is, and I think it's important that everyone uses all of their efforts to remember we have a lot of people against us, and we need to work together to, you know, get voices out there, to amplify voices, to really make change, or we could all be fucked.
No, it's scary. And I love the person in the comments that just said, I'm not voting, LOL. Like,
well, I wish I had the luxury, but unfortunately we don't. I wish well, first of all, none of this should even be political, and I wish it wasn't. Unfortunately, the only reason we know about politics is because we have to face this, you know? Exactly, Project 2025, and thank you. And is it Nico? Yeah, is scary. If you haven't read it, you really should, especially if you're part of the LGBTQ plus community. I can't speak, words are hard. LGBTQI plus community. You need to read that. Take the time. It's a lot, but read it and think, what can you do now, between now and November? How can you use your voice? What can you do to make change? How can you reach people? And how can we work together to make it happen? Because we honestly need every fucking voice right now.
Yep.
Wild. It's wild.
all right, I'll switch it. Okay. Let's have Charlie say hi. We have no one else in the request that disagrees. So if anyone is supporting trans kids, send a request. What's up, Charlie?
Hi guys, how are y'all doing?
Hey.
I'm fine. Comments have been brutal tonight.
I'll stop reading eventually. I just honestly, I don't know. I one, because I don't know everything. I don't care to. But more than that, honestly, is just I have been very calm and peaceful the past couple of weeks on here, and I don't know why. It's wild.
Yeah, I've been questioning that. I'm like, I want that. I want that. Like,
yeah,
think,
like if you could find
I want the energy back.
I
bottle it up and like sell it to me, I'll take it.
Right?
The reason I've been, I mean, trust me, I like getting spicy. I really do. But the reason I've been there is exactly what you said. We need everything right now. I don't think people realize how terrifying this can be. I don't think we realize how bad it is. Pride is coming up, and it's going to get worse and violent probably, and we need each other. We do.
Speaking of Pride, very excited because my partner's mom knows, well, my partner's family knows that I'm trans, so that's fun. The problem is having to educate his brother, I know his father's like far long gone, so I definitely won't be able to touch on that. It's his brother that is going to need to be educated, but I'm getting there, and I will get there eventually. Like, either, hey, accept that your brother has a trans fiance, or don't. And then it's also the fact of having to, it's more, well, okay, well, this actually leads to a question. How would you explain being trans, or having how would you explain to a 4-year-old what transgender is?
Without using yourself?
With using, yeah, with or without, either way.
Did they know you before? Like, how do they think you identify currently?
So my baby brothers know me as Sister Rory, but I've changed not only my name, but also like my pronouns and everything. So it's just, it's not that it's like harming me. It's just more of, it's uncomfortable.
Yeah, and I think it would be easier if you just do it now. And the thing is, kids can catch on really. So like literally you could say something like, so because when I explained it to, I don't know if you heard, but when I explained it to my younger child that their older sibling was trans, I just said, I didn't say the person. I say that on here because I don't say their name, right? But their name, right? We thought was your brother is actually your sister, right? And she goes by this name and uses these pronouns. So if you're talking to a 4-year-old, because I was a 9-year-old, so a 4-year-old, you don't even have to make it that complicated. Like, I just want to tell you something. Like we thought that you thought that I was your sister, but I'm actually your brother.
Yeah.
And I'm a boy or whatever. And it's my name. And my name is Charlie. And
yeah, it's
just like that. Like it's not complicated.
Yeah, it's also more of the fact of my spouse is, he's kind of iffy on explaining it to his son, but I've told him, I'm like, we will do it together. We will find the time. But it's also like, we can't keep it from him if it's going to be in his life. So it's not good if we just keep it away from him, because the way that it was when I told him that I was trans to begin with, he of course it got him used to using the correct pronouns, which took a hot minute, as it usually does. But he respected it, and I were to respect him.
I didn't even notice the door left. Bye.
It's the fact of having to, he's more worried about bullying, which I completely understand. But it's also the fact of, like, he also needs to know that households are different.
Yeah.
They're going to be 2 dads, 2 moms, 1 dad, 1 mom, by parents, by grandparents, by aunts and uncles, by adoptive parents. So it really, all households are different and all kids are different. So it all really just depends, and it all comes down to, we're all just human and we all function in the same way at the end. And that's what a lot of people don't really understand or comprehend, is that, like, even if you're trans, you still use the bathroom, you still bleed from the same weapons, like, you still do a lot of different things, and it's just, like, like, no matter what people say, like, I will be trans no matter what.
Exactly.
I will, like, my brothers will know, and my sister will know, and my spouse will know, and my kids will know, and it's like they will know. And I have a lot of people ask me, like, do you want kids in the future? And And I'm like, possibly. There's a reason why I don't want bottom surgery. So, possibly top surgery. I'm thinking about it. But it's more of bottom surgery comes with a lot of risks. And the risks that my anxiety has been overthinking has become a lot for my mind. But it's like, I am a trans man that I do not want to have bottom surgery on. And a lot of people think that just because trans people want to affirm their gender means that all of them want to have bottom or top surgery.
Right. And
but they don't. Because I'm a prime example of that. I'm a trans man and I don't want to have surgery. And it's also the fact of, you can be trans and not have surgery at all and still want kids, or don't want kids. And that's fine. And a lot of people don't understand that either. And like, I've had this conversation with people, and especially with my dad, because he cried over the fact of me being trans. And I told him, I was like, it doesn't mean that I won't love my spouse. It doesn't mean I won't love you or my family any less. It doesn't mean I won't have kids. But it also leads to the fact of, like, with me being biologically female, that I might not be able to, because I may be infertile to begin with. So it may work out in my gender's favor. It may not. I don't know. It's a very interesting process that I have to go through in order to find out whether or not I can actually bear children to begin with. And it's when a lot of people proceed to misgender me now, because I have my pronouns on everything and everything set. When people proceed to misgender me, when everything is like clear and it's set and it's everywhere, that I am trans and my pronouns are set, and no one proceeds to respect that, it's like, why would I give you respect if you can't give me basic respect?
Yeah, and
it's just yeah.
I know that
it's just tough.
I know that you've been up here a lot. You've gone through a lot so far, and you're still young.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. Others are pretty. Oh, I love them. Oh my god, I love that.
Thanks. Let me just see them. That's why I didn't just randomly do that. Somebody said, "Mel, can I see your nails?"
Oh yeah.
I'm preparing for Pride Month.
Your nails gonna last that long?
What?
Your nails are gonna last that long?
No, I was just seeing if it would work. Right?
You're testing it out. I'm like, damn, girl.
Yeah, no, they're not gonna last that long. No,
I love that.
And the thing is that that's what people need to understand, though, is that being transgender, like everyone, whether you're cisgender or transgender, like you're going to have your own like journey on how you see yourself and what that means. And it works the same way for being transgender. Like if you support your children when they're young, it does not mean that they're ever going to even want hormones or surgeries or anything. Like, it doesn't mean that. Like, and there's people who have this idea of a, fully transitioned, and like you have to do everything to be considered like valid.
Yeah.
It's just so harmful. And that's what's hurting kids too. That's really what's hurting kids.
Which is why, like, I feel like when you have specifically someone who's under 18 come up to you and like tell you like, hey, I think I'm transgender, especially when they're right about the age where they would start getting on the internet, because they're confused and they will ask the internet questions. That's what I did, because I knew that my parents wouldn't know. So I went to Google and I figured it out and I educated myself, and I was like, oh, this makes a lot of sense on why I would feel like this. This is what I feel like, because it helped me understand who I was instead of me being stuck and forcing myself to be someone that I wasn't.
Right. And understanding that that's like you were already feeling something, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Already had an understanding that this, like, I'm not a girl.
Yeah.
I don't know what that means, right? So it's not that like educating yourself or finding out about these things is what made you trans. That's another misconception.
It's like kids will educate themselves, and especially like young enough, they'll also ask questions. I was afraid to, because I was very iffy about coming out as bisexual to begin with. But my dad was very supportive because he's also a bisexual cis man himself. And he's a very supportive person, and I love my dad, and I'm very, very glad. My mom is also very supportive, and my stepmom, and my partner, and my friends, and it's like I have so much support and love, and I'm so thankful for each and every one of them. And it's also like I not only want to help like grow or like teach myself and other people that like being trans is okay, and it's not only being trans is also like you have to surgically or medically transition. It's also like you can just socially transition, and it's totally fine. Like you're still valid for socially transitioning, for just changing your name and changing your pronouns. But it's also like it's a struggle because it's also some parts of my family is religious, so it's like how am I supposed to tell them? But it's like I am going to have them there for me, and it's gonna be great because I have my friends and my partner, and just being like, hey, I'm gonna need you to be on call just in case stuff actually goes down, because I'm gonna need support in case I need it. And it's just things get hectic after a while, and I know I have certain supports in my corner, and they're like, hey, if you need a place to stay, if you don't feel safe, like, let me know and tell me, so that way, like, either I can get you here or, like, try and figure something else out. And it's like, I need that, because being trans within this world is harmful enough as it is, because, like, even in the comments right now, it's like, people aren't supportive and like will hate you for just being you.
Yeah.
It's like I can't live without being hated. And it's honestly like it's really sad, because it's like, what have I done to you?
Talked to before?
Yeah.
Hi, Charlie. How are you doing?
Hi. I'm okay.
Okay, good.
I'm good. I have made the decision for all next year of my last year of high school to like actually transition, like change my name on my school, legally change my name, and participate more in all of that, and try to help teach my siblings that, like their sibling is trans, and not like, it's also the fact of teaching them that that I'm trans, but it's also, I'm not gonna sit there and be like, you may or may not be trans, because one, they're too young for that, and they won't understand what that means. But it's also like, it's okay to not know. It's okay to know the person that you are. It's okay to not know the person that you are. So it really just depends on them as a person, because every person is different. And specifically people on here are very uneducated. So
Charlie is 18.
Yeah. February 2006, if that helps anyone. Yeah. Like I promise I'm 18. Like I've been up before. So
And it's not hanging out with, are you guys hanging out with somebody in high school? Like, what?
It's not hanging out. It's just like a simple conversation. But it's like I'm.
This is a debate. I don't know if you know my platform yet, but I have never said it's a debate platform. I said debates make it their way here. But it actually is, like, I'm fine with having people talk about their experiences, with giving advice or talking about support. So if you don't like it, you can shoot.
Yeah. It's super educational for people around your age. You know what I mean? To hear the perspective of somebody, you know, who's not fucking old like Mel and I know. so
yeah,
it's a good thing. It's a good thing because I mean, yeah, like you said, not everybody like has themselves figured out at 18 or whatever. I mean, shit, I'm almost 50 and I'm still trying to figure myself out. So, like,
because it's like. Yeah, because I'm in early childhood education, so that's where the whole 50-50 of wanting kids is from. But it's like, also biologically with myself, I may or may not be able to have kids. So it's also on top of that as well. So it's not only... And I've explained this to my partner, and I don't know why I felt like this, but when I went to go ask my doctor, like, when I could get tested and whether or not I can have kids, she was like, oh yeah, that was something that you would have to talk to a gynecologist about. I was like, okay, cool, I can do that. I'm not worried about that. But then it's like, for some reason, like, I felt in me that I would let everyone down if I couldn't have kids. But I'm like, I shouldn't feel this way. But somehow I do. So that got me questioning my gender, and then just after a while I was like, I shouldn't be worried about this because this is not my main priority. My safety is my priority.
Yeah,
like, I should be worried about my safety. Yeah.
Nobody should hold, like, that shouldn't be their number one goal in life. That shouldn't be your only priority, you know, to reproduce. Like, there's so much more to life, like, other than just having, I mean, fuck, I love my kids, you know, I'm like, don't get me wrong. But like, that's not your only purpose in life. And unfortunately, sometimes when you become a parent, or like, especially a mom, and like, then you get pigeonholed into that for the rest of your life, that you're just a fucking mom. And it's really frustrating. It completely takes away your personhood and things like that. And then, you know, jackasses, you know, like to make speeches about how that's the most important thing in your life, when it's a part of it. But my God, that's not our sole purpose. You know, do what makes you happy first. And if that happens and that's something you want, then that's fine. But you're not obligated to do anything like that for society or for your family.
Yeah, it's all like, it's all really big, because I know that my mom and my dad and my stepmom want to have grandkids, but it's also like, I don't want to be pressured into having kids, because after taking those fake robotic babies home, I don't think I want children, because I got like zero sleep over the weekend, because it was supposed to imitate a 6-month-old.
Yeah.
So it was still waking up in the middle of the night, and I was like, I don't want to be here.
We had fucking flour sacks or whatever. They didn't cry or anything. Did you do that, Carrie? Did you have?
No, we didn't even do that in high school, which is funny, because when I see those assignments now, I think it is great. It is super realistic, because there's times like you can get baby fever and you can think about it and be like, oh, like, would I? Okay, maybe. And then
yeah.
And then you're sleep deprived and you're up all night and you're doing those things and you're just like, Jesus, I don't know. I like my sleep. I like to be able to just get in the shower by myself when I want to take a shower. Like,
yeah, my mom woke up and it was like 3 a.m. on Sunday morning, and she was helping my baby brother, and I told her, I was like, one, I'm pretty sure you could hear me like talking to the baby to just be quiet. It's too early for this.
Yeah.
And I'm sitting there and I'm like, just be quiet, because it has like a super big and super loud speaker on its chest. So I just put the blanket over it so it's not too loud.
Oh my
I'm
god.
like, I've already scanned it. You're fine. Just please be quiet.
You cannot do that with a baby.
I was gonna say you can't.
No. I know that. I grew up around 3 separate babies. I know you can't do that, but I was like, it's vocal is too loud.
I do think that's a really good, like, I kind of wish everybody could go through that, right? Because I didn't go through that. But you can't get to like wait till Monday and like give it back.
Yeah.
Like, and the thing is that like, and kids get sick, right? And you don't think about a lot of these different scenarios, and you can't get a break. Like, it's rough, and especially like, you're 18. Like, give yourself. You don't have to make this decision right now. I was kind of raised. I was raised that like my purpose in life was to be a mom. Like, that's what women are supposed to do. Yeah. So like I rushed into trying to find someone to be with, and that can be really harmful and like rough on your mental health. And even though things kind of worked out for me, like I'm still married, my husband's really supportive, we have a pretty good marriage, but it's just, I wish I would have just at least had the option, at least got to think about it, because I feel like I never gave myself a choice. I literally set myself up to where I was worried that like if I did have any issues with fertility, that like wasn't going to be valid enough. Wasn't going to be a woman that I'm supposed to be. And that is so awful to do to people. So I mean, of course you can think about it. Just you don't have to make a decision. You have plenty of time.
Well, I'm getting yelled at in the comments to be let down, so
we really don't care.
I'm gonna say this and then I'm gonna go. If you ever need someone to help out with debates, I'm always here. Even if it's just pop out of class for just a few minutes, I can go ahead and do that. I'm not worried about it. But yeah, if you need help or just want me to pop up and help debate or whatever, because with my viewpoints, because every viewpoint's different for all sorts of different things, so it's like if you want my viewpoint, that's more than fine. I'm more than willing to come up.
And that's why I like having panels. You know, people like to complain about like, Mel never does a 1v1 or anything. Because that's not like what my platform is, right? Like I want different perspectives to be able to talk to people, to try to get through to them, to try to because sometimes it's going to take someone else, you know. Sometimes people can handle me getting angry and I'm like, oh damn, like this is actually like, you know, an important topic to her, like why, you know, and they watch and they listen and they learned. I've gotten feedback on that, like, oh, I thought you were a bitch, and like now I understand, right?
Oh yeah. Like I saw Adora, it was like a while ago. I saw her and like I popped up and I understood that I was trans, but I didn't understand why. And then like learning and watching her lives, and then you came up and then I started watching your lives as well. And it's like I learned so much over the course of just a few months. And I was like, this is insane. Like I know so much more, not only about myself, but like where the feeling of me being like transgender comes from, and like how long transgenderism has been around, and like how long trans people have been fighting for, and just like all of this information I've collected, and I've been just keeping it, but also trying to spread it at the same time. But with my small following, it's really hard. Because once you get that small boost, it just kind of like runs out. And it's tricky after a while, because it's like you don't really know what else you can really do. Which is why I've wanted to get into art more, so that way I can share it and that'll hopefully boost it up.
Harley, take the advice of Paris here. You see that?
Yeah, no. But it's like I've also done my own research as well. Like I've gone to a whole bunch of different articles. I've like seen and heard different experiences, and I know a lot of stories. But it's also like when I have friends, especially my intersex best friend, she's told me, she's like, hey, so I knew that you were trans by freshman year. I'm like, what do you mean? She's like, I knew before you knew. I'm like, what are you talking about? She's like, I knew before you knew because you just seemed distressed about something. I'm like, that doesn't make any sense. She's like, okay, well, when you came out as trans, you seemed a lot happier. I was like, oh, you knew before I knew. That's weird. But it's also like, you may not know until later on, and then other people may know as well. And, you know, she tells me that a lot of the time, and I'm like, I'm glad that you were the one person that knew something about me versus everyone else. And
the comments.
I know the comments are so stupid.
Oh, God, that is not what Charlie said.
I know.
No. So it's the whole fact of like my best friend knew that I was trans before I knew that I was trans. That's what it was. Like she knew she knew that I was a man way before I knew that I was. So that's like it took me a while to understand what she meant by that, but like I know what she means. And like I
can just see like the change in someone, you know, like
yeah.
So it may not be quite like she may not have fully understood your identity, but definitely.
Oh yeah, which is why I love her. Like I love her so much. I'm so glad to have her in my life. She's one of my biggest supports.
That's awesome.
That's awesome.
Yeah, I'm glad.
And
oh my God,
yeah,
people are not liking you. You guys, stop it.
Oh God.
You may not like me, but I'm still here. I'm sorry that I'm confusing all of you. Okay.
You're not.
I actually have a really funny story. So I have especially like cis men who come up to me and be like, oh my God, you're so hot, you're so beautiful. I'm like, oh yeah, thanks. They're like, oh my God, well, like, how are you? What are you doing? And then after a while of talking to them, I'm like, oh yeah, you didn't know that I was a trans man? And they're like, oh. And they just run away, and I'm like, I did something.
Gosh.
It makes me laugh every time when they just run away after I'm telling them. I'm like, oh yeah, well, I'm a trans man. And it's like, are you really that embarrassed to be that open? So it's like, you may not like me, but I'm here.
Yeah.
Oh, see, there you go. You guys, thank you for giving Charlie some support. Vish is leave. He's getting his charger. God. Anyway, Charlie, thank you so much for coming up. You can always come back.
Of course.
Yeah, I love the update.
Yeah, if either of you just ever want me to pop back up, send me a message in either lives, and I'll see what I can do and pop up as soon as I can.
Awesome. Thank you, Charlie. Appreciate it.
Of course.
Yeah, good luck. Talk to you later.
Okay, bye.
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 I'm tired of it. You guys are so mean. God damn.
There's no satisfying the chat, seriously, because if you go through people quickly, what do they say? Oh, you doesn't let them have a conversation. Yeah, you don't let them have a conversation. You just drop them immediately. You just do this and this. You don't even let them talk. And then when you let somebody talk, it's like, oh my gosh, can you just move on? Yappity, yappity, yappity. It's like, you know what? Y'all can't make up your minds. Like, it doesn't really matter. Mel's going to do whatever Mel's going to do. It doesn't really matter what you say. So,
Charlie.
I guess the interaction is good for the live. Whatever. Keep typing away.
Hello?
See, shut the fuck up, Sherry. Really? Yeah, like, sure. Yeah, tell me to shut the fuck up. Like, that's really gonna happen.
Like, go away. Anyway, Martin, how old are you?
I'm 18.
What year were you born?
2006,
What month?
March 28th.
Okay, go ahead.
I don't think little kids should be allowed to transition.
What do you think transitioning is for little kids?
Like transitioning to the other gender.
What do you think that looks like?
When you change your gender.
Specifically, what does that look like?
You go through a different like you go through different bodily changes and stuff that are irreversible.
No, okay.
Irreversible bodily changes.
What are you considering a little kid? Because you said little kids, so I was.
Shit, I mean, like, if your child's like under 18, I don't think they should be able to transition.
Well, it doesn't matter if they're
Under 18 is a little kid.
I mean, I'm a little.
Just turned 18.
I'm a kid too.
Before March, did you know that you were? I'm just assuming here, based on the shit that you're saying, that you're a cisgender man. Yeah. So, did you know that you were a boy before the age of 18, or did you wait until your 18th birthday?
When my mother told me I was a boy, I said, okay.
Cool.
So you had to have someone else tell you who you were? You didn't know on your own?
Oh, shit. I was young, so she just said, yeah, you're a boy. I was like, okay.
And up until last year, you were a little kid.
I was a kid, maybe not a little, but kid, yeah, kid.
Interesting.
So on your 18th birthday, like magically you turned into an adult?
Yeah, I updated from little kid to kid status.
I think that's so weird. Like 1 day difference because people turn 18. All of a sudden they think something magical happened that they turned into adults.
Do you think the same for the judicial system and how we charge people?
I mean,
that's a whole nother discussion.
I think we do.
That would take too long.
Yeah. Right. So we do have like laws that do correlate with age, but when we're talking about your identity, there's nothing that happens between the time that your last day on your 17th birthday to the day that you turn 18 where you would have an understanding of yourself. You actually can have an understanding of yourself when you're very young. Love the wig, Melanie.
I know, what? That's Mel's hair, but okay.
It is literally my hair, but okay.
Do you want me to send you a wig? I have a couple.
Sure.
Yeah, you have fabulous ones.
We'll get in my wig closet. We'll have a little wig party.
If they're gonna say it, I should go with it, right? So anyway, children can understand. Yeah, who is Melanie? Children can understand their identities at very young ages. Children know, like when they're really young, when a teacher says, like, which they shouldn't really, but boys and girls, boys line up over here, girls line up over there. They know where to go. They have an understanding of who they are. And that does leave out non-binary kids. I recognize that. But I'm talking to this person.
I mean, I don't know. Cause like, I don't know. Cause I get the whole like sex and gender and like the differentiations between them. But okay. I think they correlate a lot more than y'all give credit to, you know. Because if you're born a male, you're a boy, you know.
No.
Well, you're not. If you're cisgender, you are, but not everyone's cisgender, right?
But starting up, if you're born a male, you're a boy.
But Martin, seriously, and you said earlier your mom told you that you were a boy. Maybe that happened, but at no point in your life you're like, hey, I'm a boy, without someone telling you. Did you need your mom to tell you that to know that about yourself?
I was treated like a boy, you know.
Okay, that's fine. People can be treated how someone expects them to be, but you knew that it felt right. It didn't feel like it was out of place for you, correct?
I mean,
whenever they called you a boy, you weren't like, that's not right. Yeah.
I mean, there was no, shit. Yeah, I never.
I mean, what if somebody called you a little girl when you were small? Do you think that would have felt uncomfortable?
Or would you have been like, oh, I'm a girl because someone told me I was?
It would have made me feel uncomfortable. I mean, if you mistake me for a girl, you mistake me for a girl. Get on with it, you know.
No, but you would have known. You would have known that it wasn't correct, right? No one would tell you because you know who you are. Yeah.
Even to the fucking makeup.
It doesn't matter, honestly. Some random dude comes up to me and says I'm a girl. Okay.
Great. So if a trans person tells you that they're trans, they acknowledge their identity, it doesn't matter to you. So you can go on with your life as well, yeah?
Shit, kinda, yeah.
Cool.
Why have you agreed?
I don't know if I believe that though. Like when I was little, I know if somebody would have called me a boy, I would have been like, nah, I'm a girl.
It used to happen to me all the time, and it used to irritate me like crazy. Like when I would dress like androgynous as a kid and I had super short hair, I would get mistaken for a boy and it would make me upset and I would start crying. Or my dad, I told you guys, he would purposely joke around and be like, hey, what are you boys doing? And I was always like, Dad, we're girls. Like kids know, and they will tell adults like, this is who I am or whatever. Yeah.
It's just not important, to be honest. Like gender and shit like that. I mean, if someone like if you look like a dude and you identify as a woman and you accidentally get called like a dude, shit, I mean, move on with your day, you know.
Well, Martin, here's the thing, Martin. If you use the word, I'm gonna give you a hair of grace, and I don't know why. You said if you accidentally do it, okay, cool. People make accidents, right? You say, "Oh, I didn't realize that." But if someone corrects you, and you keep misgendering them, then you're kind of a dick. You know what I mean? You don't have to. If you make a mistake, just say, "Oh, okay," and correct it, and move on. That's it.
Yeah, I mean, if I'm not gonna get close to the person, if I'm not like their coworker or like a friend of them, I don't really care that much, I don't think.
But do you see how as a child maybe that might be more of a sensitive thing? Like you're thinking about this as an adult, right?
Oh, as a child.
Now you're magically 18, you're an adult. So,
man, children need to suck it up.
Jesus, are you serious?
Really, they do?
Yeah, they need to learn that life ain't fun and rainbows.
Jesus Christ.
Okay.
We shouldn't make it hard on them just because we can.
I mean, it's not making it hard on them. It's just treating them like normal people.
We need to be teaching other people that you need to be respectful, that you shouldn't be bullying other people.
I mean, of course, be respectful, but
So you don't put it on the victim. Why are you blaming the victim here?
when did I blame the victim?
When you said you need to suck it up or whatever. Children need to.
I'm not blaming anybody by saying they need to suck it up. Just
that is, you're not addressing the people who are actually causing the harm. You're saying
so getting misgendered causes harm to people.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Yes.
Yeah.
I mean, if you're gonna be like, if they're gonna be soft about that, that's really not my problem.
You think children should be hard?
I mean, getting misgendered isn't like a bad, like it isn't crazy. I mean, shit.
That is, even Sherry told you, like when she was little and when people would call her a boy, that would upset her.
Well, in the real world, you're gonna get called a lot worse. So just suck it up at a young age.
You've been in the real world for how many days now?
Probably like 30 or so.
Yeah, you've been for 30 days. Maybe you're not an expert in the real world. Can I just ask you for one easy thing? Compassion. Just have compassion for people, you know?
I mean, I'll feel bad for people and stuff like that, but...
Are you? Because what you're saying isn't really demonstrating that.
Because gender is like it doesn't matter at all.
Martin, have you ever had a bad
Let me
day?
ask you a question. When
I've
you were
had
a
a
kid,
great
were your feelings ever validated, or did your parents tell you to suck it up?
I mean, in certain scenarios, my parents are like, oh yeah, that makes sense. But in others, it was like, nah, you're being a stupid little kid.
Jesus.
That's probably where your issue is coming from, because you were not allowed to
Were you
have
allowed to
emotions.
show emotions and like cry as a
I'm
kid?
allowed to cry. But if I cried over some stupid shit, like somebody calling me a girl, they would say, okay, move on.
Yeah, that's harmful. You should have been able to express your emotions.
Yeah,
If you ever decide to have kids, Martin, break that cycle.
I don't resemble a girl at all, so I'm fine with like shit. If you want to call me a girl to make yourself feel better or to come at me in some way, shit.
But Martin, it's not about coming for someone. It's about being respectful and having compassion and empathy. That's it.
Compassion and empathy.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And we weren't talking about somebody misgendering somebody on purpose. We were talking about people their feelings being hurt if somebody misgenders them without knowing. It can still be hurtful. We're not talking about people bullying.
I'm gonna say this. I feel like you guys act like there's a lot more cases of gender dysmorphia out in the world than there really is.
Dysphoria.
Martin, do you?
Gender dysphoria.
He's not even what being trans is, Martin.
And it's.
I'm not saying that's what it is. I'm just saying,
Martin.
Like usually
Martin,
when you see a woman on the street,
is
you
my
can tell.
microphone on? Is this real life?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Martin, what is gender dysphoria? What is it, please?
Sorry?
What is gender dysphoria?
Gender dysphoria is when you feel like a different gender than you are. Or no, that's not the word that
I know use the wrong word and the wrong definition. You know what? That's okay. It's okay not to know it, but here's the thing: what's not okay.
It's like the one where, what is it?
Mm-hmm.
Like when you got like female and male parts.
Yeah.
I think it's like.
No.
What?
No. You're female, but you look like a male. You know what I mean?
That's not it.
No, Martin.
What in the hell?
It's okay not to know, but what I'm saying is you're using these words, and it's. I'm trying so hard.
No, y'all giving me straight, bro. I'm fine with anything. I'm just trying to have a legitimate conversation.
Look, have you ever had a rough day, Martin?
Everyone has rough days, yeah.
Right. You never know what someone's going through, right?
I mean, shit. Yeah.
Shit.
What does it cost you? What does it cost you just to respect someone's pronouns or respect their identity and just be kind to someone? What does that cost you from your life?
Nothing. But here's what I think. Here's what I think we're getting disconnected.
Hold on 1 second.
All right.
There's no but to that because
I'll talk after.
You don't have to. At some point in your life, you're going to want someone to give you that same grace. You're going to want that. And every time that you go in a different direction, and you just do the slightest thing that's disrespectful, potentially hurtful, again, if you accidentally, whoopsies, but if you keep doing it, you're just causing someone harm, and you would want that same thing not to be done back to you. That's it.
That makes sense. I agree with you on that. But what I think you're not understanding, I'm not gonna see a trans person, and if they look like a dude, I'm gonna say, "Excuse me, sir." But if they say, "Oh no, it's ma'am," I'll try, of course, try my best to be like, "Oh, what's up, ma'am? What's going on, ma'am? What's going on, miss?" type shit. But
Would you, Martin? You seem like you just made that about you.
I'm gonna be honest. I probably would. I mean, like, I'm not that much an asshole, So.
Can I give you a resource? Martin?
Of course, yeah.
Go to the trevorproject.org /resources.
Okay.
/resources.
Okay.
And there's a huge library there. The thing specifically I want you to look up is there's a resource called How to Be an Ally to Trans Youth.
Uh-huh.
One thing that's in there is there's a section on misgendering, which happens. Okay. Everyone's going to do it. You're going to fuck up.
Okay.
But one of the most important things, if you accidentally misgender someone, is not to do what Mel said and make it about you, not to center yourself in the conversation.
All right.
Instead of going, I'm not going to characterize how you said things because I don't know what your intention was. If you're saying, ma'am or anything like that, you don't have to exaggerate it. You have to go. Even one of the things I tend to do, I say I'm sorry too much. I'm like, oh my God, I'm so sorry. I didn't mean that. I'm sorry. Don't do that. Mm-hmm. Just correct yourself. Right. Say it right and move on. It's just a way of just being respectful without making a big deal out of it.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, of course. Yeah. I believe that 100% through and through.
You know what else you could do, Martin? You could just not gender people that you don't know.
I mean, that's how I was raised, though, and that's how a lot of us do it down south here. We always say, "Sir, ma'am." It's a respectful thing to do.
It's not necessarily that idea that it's respectful is actually not respectful to everyone.
Yeah. It's our culture.
I know, but what about the cultures that just think it's not respectful?
Yeah, there's a shift of that changing for a lot of people. Martin, I'm just curious. You don't never mind. I was gonna ask where you're from, but don't say.
Texas.
Don't say, Martin.
I mean, if anybody wants to come from me,
it's not even that. People are just horrible on this app. Don't do that.
We got a Second Amendment right here. If anybody wants to do anything, I'll take their ass.
Okay, well, cool.
All right, Martin.
Any questions, Martin? If we can help you with anything else?
I was just wondering if there was like like a donation or like something like that, so I could like donate to the trans community, like any foundations or shit. Cause y'all like making me feel some
The
sort of
Trevor
way.
Project.
The Trevor Project, is it trevorproject.org?
Yep. The Trevor Project is the nation's only 24/7, 365 unalive and crisis prevention helpline for LGBTQ youth. They focus specifically in helping youth, whether it be, by the way, for everyone's listening in the comments, whether it be by calling on the phone for assistance. They also do chat, also on the website that you can do texting. If you're on the website and you're in an unsafe situation, 3 times and it deletes from the screen so no one has to come in and see anything. It's a place for people to feel safe, to get the help that they need and the support, because 1.8 million LGBTQ youth considered unaliving themselves in the past year.
Damn.
Yeah. That's why these small measures of respect are so important, because it helps change those numbers.
It helps change numbers.
Yep.
Wait, so do they sell merch on there?
Nah, they don't do merch.
No merch?
I don't think so.
Damn.
Do they?
I get some merch.
They do donations. I mean, there are often things that do brands that do collaborations with them, like for things that they give a portion of the things. Like if you want to get, I don't know, the sunglasses and shit like that, because hey, we're getting to Pride Month, so they're going to sell anything right now. But I mean, honestly, the best way you can help an organization, if you really want to, is just to make a donation of any amount that you're able to do.
Shit, you know, I'm gonna actually consider that. Bro.
Yeah.
Hey, respect to
That's
y'all.
awesome,
Bro. Big up to
Martin.
y'all, bro.
Thank you.
Hey, no problem, bro. Y'all have a nice night.
You too.
Yeah, good night, Martin. That actually went pretty good.
Yeah, that went really well.
Considering. Good job, Bish. That was a good one.
I don't know who the fuck I.
So there's a very tiny little sentence on the Trevor Project, that article that Bish was talking about. It just says, respecting the language that young people use to identify themselves is not only polite, it can save lives. And that is 100% true. So I'm going to check a message really quick. Bish, if you want to add someone and do the intro, I'll be right back.
All right, let me see who we got. All right, we have survey says. All right, we've got 3 people. I can't tell who's been here the longest, so I'm just going to go Marissa. Marissa, whenever you jump in here, please let us know your age first off, please. I tried. What? I hit the button. What's this button do? Let me see.
What's this button do?
Right?
You sound like me.
Right, Marissa, accept. I hit accept. Marissa, it says I can't manage whenever the creator's away. Mel, come back. You're paused, so I can't bring anyone in. Okay,
Hold on, let me see if I can go now.
Yeah, so, Mel's back. Yeah, it says whenever you're away, I couldn't add people while you were away.
What the hell?
Okay, hold on. My kid's not even home. I can go in the house. I don't know what I'm doing out here.
Here we go. Take 3.
Hold on.
Again. All right, we're going to hit that button again. Like, what's this button do? Who the fuck am I? Marissa, come in and let us know your age, please, Marissa. Hello? Marissa, can you hear us? Hello, Marissa. Papa, can you hear me? No? All right, Marissa, I'm going to give you 3, 2, 1. Marissa, if you're there, we can't hear you. Please get back in the box if you want to come and chat with us. Thank you. Drive through. All right, next, going down the line. All right, next we have I was going to say lo-fi. I don't know what to call you. All right. I'm sorry, Molly. I didn't mean to put show tunes in your head. Lo-fi, what's your age, please?
I am 24.
Cool. Let kids be trans. What do you want to say about that?
Yeah, how you guys doing?
Good. You?
I'm good. Yeah, I just don't think, me personally.
Okay.
I don't see like the conviction you guys get with it, because I feel that it's more of an adult thing, whether whether I agree or disagree. I feel like it's an adult thing to do that.
Why do you think that?
Because it's just how how can I put it?
I don't know.
I don't think it's for kids.
Well,
I don't think it's for
Lo-Fi.
kids.
Hey, can I call you Lo-Fi? Is that what I call you? What,
Yeah, you can. You can call me Lo-Fi.
Lo-Fi, okay. I feel like a broken record. When are you a man?
Yeah.
Cool. So whenever you were younger, you were a boy, yeah?
Yeah.
When did you know that you were a boy? Like, what age would you guess?
I'd probably say I became self-aware. Probably like 6, around 5 or 6.
Aren't you too young? How did you know?
That's an adult thing.
Right? You see what I'm saying? You knew. Of course you knew, because you know kids know who they are. So the same way that you at 6 years old or whenever you were, you knew that you were a boy, it's the same age that a trans kid knows who they are.
I mean, but I was born a boy though. Like, I'm a boy.
You were born male, and people assumed you were a boy, and for you it was true. It's not for everyone. You know, the sex and gender aren't necessarily the same thing for people. You know what I mean? They can align for some, and for some they don't. Mel was showing her boobs. Okay. Oh my God! I should sleep sometime.
Mel showing her boobs, everyone.
So I was not. Somebody asked what was
I know. That's why I said that. Boobs, because of ghosts. That's why I said it.
There's just one.
Oh, is that what that is? That's actually clever.
Yeah, she's the uniboober. So anyhow, do you realize how? I don't know. I need to sleep. Do you realize how? Okay, we're into the nose, out through the mouth. Do you realize the same way that you know that you were a boy is the same way that trans kids know exactly who they are?
I wouldn't say they know exactly, because now correct me if I'm wrong. Correct me if I'm wrong. Detransitioning is a thing, or no?
Do you know what the stats are for detransitioning? It is, and detransitions are valid. But do you know what the stats are to talk about it?
No, I'm just asking: is it a thing, or is it a myth? Like,
sure, no, it's a thing. But the thing is, less than 1%.
Do you think that could cause confusion, though? Like,
no. Because here's the thing: less than 1% of people who transition detransition, and I'm saying that. Transitioning does not mean you have to have surgery, and also to be trans, you don't have to transition in the first place. You know, everyone's experience is a little bit different, but words. Oh my God, I'm getting wacky with the thing.
You don't think that's vague a little bit?
Well, I'm sorry. Well, let me clarify. Then I got my brain kind of went places. No, so less than 1% of people actually do detransition, and the majority of those do retransition later, because in most cases it's because of lack of social acceptance or the finances to do it. You know.
So can I not to cut you off? Just ask a question.
That's fine. Go ahead.
I don't know.
So it's something that you can like kind of turn off and on, like on and off.
No. When I would say they're detransition, it's because lack of, like I said, lack. Jesus Christ, I can't speak. Lack of social acceptance. It's from not getting support. So people end up going back in the closet because of the lack of support, and then they end up later, whenever they do find the support and find themselves in a better place, transitioning back to being their true authentic selves.
So if you go back into the closet, you're no longer trans.
No, you're still trans. You're just closeted. Look, okay, and being gay and being trans are the same thing, but I'm saying for Mike, because I'm a cisgender heterosexual. Oh my God, homosexual.
Whoa!
Are you okay?
You heard it here first, folks. Hey,
what is going
guess
on?
what, guys? I like the chicks. All right, so anyway, my God, I'm gonna log off real soon, because I just came out of. It was the broccoli. The broccoli made me straight. Fuck. God damn it.
It was Mel's uniboob.
I am a cisgender homosexual man. Okay, so anyhow, what I was trying to say with that, no matter if I went back in the closet, which, honey, there's no closet that can hold this, but if I did, I would still be gay. You know what I mean? It doesn't change who you are. Comments, you're out of control. How dare you? How very dare you? I am not okay. I'm very not okay, Raven. Blink twice if you need help. Click. This is what happens. I don't do caffeine anymore either. So anyhow, I'm sorry. We got kind of silly there, Lo-Fi. But seriously, the number of people who detransition, it's a very, very small number. Some do and don't transition back, and that's valid, but if you're going to talk about regret rates, there's a much higher regret rate for literally anything else. Knee surgery, chemotherapy have enormous regret rates. You know what I mean?
And host, do you as well think it's valid? So regardless of it being valid, do you think it can also be unhealthy for some kids?
To be trans?
No, I was gonna continue the question. Say a 12-year-old comes across this live, and they're a female and they're a girl. They think they're a girl, but they hit a tomboy stage maybe. And let's say 12 to let's say this live stems their confusion. Let's say 12 to 16, they think they're a boy and undergo what are they? Hormone blockers.
Oh my god!
It doesn't work that way. It doesn't work that way.
Blockers.
The first thing.
Wait, hold on. I just
wait. That's impossible. That's impossible. If a kid thought that, right, the first step would be therapy, and then after working with a therapist for a year or so, they would get to the bottom of if the kid needs actual medical treatment, if they actually have gender dysphoria. You can't just go into the pediatrician and say, hey, I want hormone replacement therapy, and they give it to you. It's very, very long process.
For sure. That's why I said 12 to 16. I was in a different live and they kind of explained it to me. They kind of gave me some knowledge. But
Right. So the therapy weeds out the kids who are not trans. So you can't just go say you want hormones and then they just give it to you.
So you think there's never been a person that has went through therapy and has passed the therapy undergo hormones?
Yeah, it's just not that common.
Transitioned?
Okay, about 1% of kids who start the gender affirming care process are actually cisgender. About 1%. Right.
Okay, so the cis
stop the process at any point. They could just start therapy and stop. So it's 1% total. Very rare.
Right. So for 99% of the kids,
you don't pass.
Right. This is the correct treatment for them. For 99%.
So for the 1%, I don't know if it's higher than that, but 1% are still people.
Right. Of course.
I don't think that's dangerous.
So what's your solution then to stop care for 99% of people that it works for them?
No, just let children become adults, and then after they're an adult.
Right. So you leave behind the 99%.
No, let them be. Well, sure. I guess if you want to take it like that, but no, let them
exactly
become
how
an
it is.
adult.
That's what you're saying. When it works for 99% of kids, when it's working for 99% of the kids, why are you stopping the care that is working for the 99% because of the 1%?
Because that's 1% of children. That's a child. I don't care if it's just one child.
99% of those children it works for. 99% of those children it works for.
So you don't.
Yeah. So what you should be advocating for is the best possible medical care, the best possible therapy for kids, actually getting the best care. Not that we take away the care.
Yes.
We want them to have the best care.
Did you just say no to the best possible care?
Lo-fi. So
can I give you a comparison?
Well, can I ask you a question real fast? If there are 100 kids with cancer, okay, which is heartbreaking and sad. I am. It's called an analogy. Hang with me. All right. If there are 100 kids with cancer, all right, and the recommended treatment for those kids for their type of cancer is chemotherapy, okay, and if one of those kids is not happy with it, so should we stop having access for the other 99 to save their life with that therapy?
I'll answer your question if you answer this one. Are you saying
I'll be glad to. Answer my first, I'll be glad to.
No, I'm saying, are you saying this is a disease as well? Because cancer is a disease.
No, it's medical care.
It's medical care.
But that's medical care for a disease, though.
When children go through gender affirming care, more than just social affirmation, they do need a gender dysphoria diagnosis, and that needs treatment. So it is medical care. That's why they're comparable.
But is it a disease, though?
No,
that's what I'm asking.
It's not a disease.
Not all medical care is for a disease.
Like depression.
There's medical care for injuries.
Depression is a disease.
Medical care.
Okay.
But
just stay with the analogy.
Yes, this,
It's not a disease.
I don't know.
it's not
I mean, regardless,
if would you say the 99 kids that it's helping, they should not have access to it because there's one kid that it is not helping?
no, I don't. I think the 99 children should receive help.
Then why do you have a different standard for gender affirming care?
Because the difference is in the cancer scenario, that's one child that doesn't like it and doesn't want it. In the other scenario, that's a child that could have completely missed that whole phase because of
Miss what phase?
the phase of I mean, I'm gonna use this word, you guys aren't gonna like it, but confusion. That's the phase of confusion.
Well, it's not confusion.
Do you realize that like trans kids are not being forced into gender affirming care? Because you're making it kind of sound like they're being forced.
And also, respectfully, I don't want to hear you using confusion whenever you said hormone blockers, because it's clear that you're confused about what gender affirming care is, because puberty blockers and hormone replacement therapy are not hormone blockers, and it's okay to be confused.
Okay,
and don't use confusion as your stance.
Okay, I don't think children should have biological things changing them.
You just
because
have an issue with trans
So kids can't have medication?
no, not trans
You
people.
have a double standard when it comes to other types of medical care, but not when it comes to transgender children. And these statistics are accurate. I didn't just make
No,
that up.
that's the thing, though.
Out of,
It's the
hold on,
children part.
100 children who have any type of gender incongruence, when they start care, right, it works for 99% of them. 99 of those children out of 100, it works for them. And you're saying, fuck you, 99 children, because of the one child that this may not work for. And that one child may just start therapy, right? Because it's just about starting the gender affirming care process. So they could start therapy and then be like, oh, you know what? I'm actually cisgender. That's it.
And for this 99, let's talk about this 99%. When you say it works, what does that mean?
It means that the care that they received is the correct care that they should have received. So if it's just therapy, then it's just therapy. If it's puberty blockers, then it was puberty blockers.
But when you say it works, like what is happening? What's happening?
It's
like
beneficial.
Something has to happen for it to work.
It just has to be beneficial for the patient. It's the right form of treatment for them.
But what is what's the outcome? Is what I'm asking.
In the example of people that have gender dysphoria, it would be alleviating the dysphoria.
Having a happier, healthier life.
Alleviating the dysphoria.
It's a reduction of symptoms.
Yeah.
So alleviating the dysphoria would mean they are congruent. Is that
It can alleviate some of the symptoms.
No, it doesn't make them congruent.
Alleviate some of the symptoms. So what will the symptoms be?
Symptoms of distress.
The distress.
Just stress.
Distress.
Wow.
Wow.
Let me ask you a question. Do you have any idea why Mel does these lives?
To be honest, no, because that was my first question. Where does the conviction come from? Like where?
Okay, so Mel has a trans daughter who is 15 who is on hormone replacement therapy. I have a trans son who is 16, also on hormone replacement therapy. So we've been through this process, right? We've experienced this firsthand. And we have both had discussions with our children. I believe that the medical care that my kid is getting is absolutely 100% the right care for him. We have discussed if at any moment and at any time he decided this is not right for me, it would absolutely stop. And I've asked him, so what if you felt different about this down the road? What if you think differently down the road? And their answers are the same. Whatever would happen down the road, I just want your support. So regardless, when trans kids come to you and say, this is what I need, we support them. If that changes at any moment, we support that as well. It doesn't matter.
Well,
but for 99% of these kids, this is the right thing. They've gone through the ringer trying to get this medical care. They've gone through the therapy. They've gone to see the specialist. We talk to them all the time about this. So
At the end of the day, though, it's not their choice. Though it's your guys' choice because you're their parents.
No, that's not true.
It's a group
parents
effort.
don't
It
make
has to be
decisions
between
for
the
their
patient, the
children.
parent, and the doctor. Everybody has to be on board.
Well, yeah. Well, okay, adults. Let me clarify. What I mean adults. Whether you're the parent or the doctor, you're adults.
Yeah, that's kind of how medical care works for children.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm saying so. At the end of the
Doctors are
day,
involved, and parents and the child. If the child does not consent to anything, the process doesn't move forward. Doesn't it work?
I'm sorry. I don't normally like to interrupt for our conversation with commenters, but Ashley Grimes, who's spamming transphobic things, says, "I love your bio. Make this world a better place by inspiring one person at a time." Ashley, I'm going to do exactly that. Make this world a better place. We no longer hear your voice here. Thank you. He's right. It was good.
probably one more question, and then I'll be
Sure.
through. I had came from another live, a debating live, and they were talking about the process of transitioning. They were saying it was neurological, social, and yeah, I think psychological. Or no, I think that's neurological. Neurological, social, and physical, or something, or biological. But the point is, I wanted to ask you guys, like, so the genders are man, woman, boy, girl, right?
Those are some genders, sure.
Are there more genders than that?
It depends, but yeah, sure. I mean, there are 8 genders mentioned in the Talmud.
There's non-binary. There's agender. There's a lot.
Gender fluid.
How many are there?
Gender.
I think gender is because a part of gender, not the only thing of gender, but a part of gender is expression. And there, you would probably say there's limitless ways to express yourself, right? There's more common ways of expression, but I'm not sure there's an exact number. Nor do I think the number is important. I think it's just recognizing people for who they are.
There's a lot of gender categories. It depends on the culture.
Will you experience a small number of them in your life from your people you interact with? Probably not that many, but it doesn't mean that others don't exist, you know?
So there's no like concrete, there's nothing that we can go off of, I guess.
I don't think there needs to be an exact number to because of how people can express themselves. No,
and people have. So the thing is that people develop a gender identity, and then they can figure out like what's the best way to describe their identity. They're not getting a list. We're not giving people a list of identities and saying, okay, you pick one. That's not how it works. You're already developing your identity.
So what can stop me from transitioning into a boy as a grown man?
Boy.
Okay, well,
that's a child.
Oh my God, are you being disingenuous for real?
No, I don't. They actually asked me that, but this is a genuine question.
How is age measured?
Yeah.
Through time, but how that, which is biological, right?
Is time biological?
No.
Age doesn't have a biological clock.
We measure age by what? What do we do as humans?
By the number of times we go around the sun.
Yeah. So no, it's
Is
not
there
biological.
a biological component though? Like, is age a biological clock?
Okay. You aren't.
No, not the way you're
you
saying
want
it.
another. I don't know if this is supposed to be a weird gotcha or if you're just like incredibly elevated right now. I'm not really sure. But no, your age isn't something that changes. Your
age isn't something that changes.
No, okay, your age.
No,
doesn't.
it's just
Your age
a
does not go
measurement.
backwards. We're not Benjamin Buttoning it out here in the world, you know.
Yeah, you can't go backwards. Exactly. It counts forward. And yes, you age as like a process. People age. Right. So you can't go backwards.
All right, you go forward. But
Right. So that's why you cannot be a man that becomes a boy. Period. End of story.
okay, and that's one aspect. And the second aspect of that is a biological aspect, correct or no?
No. What do you mean by that?
How is it a no? If I'm 20 and I turn
Do you
24,
genuinely think you can be an adult and then be a child again?
no, I don't. But I'm using.
Then why are you using this?
Okay, next.
Because I'm using your guys' logic.
Honestly,
That's the whole reason.
No, you're not.
That's not what a lot of.
That's trans logic. That's why I brought up the social. That would be transitioning social, psychologically.
This is why I'm not nice to people, because you sit there and you waste your whole fucking time trying to educate someone who you think is genuine and they're not.
I'm
Yeah,
a little
trans
disappointed-
logic.
I'm a little disappointed you beat me to it. My finger's also on the button.
Oh, God damn it.
I gotta drop anyway, though. My kid's gonna be home soon. I don't want to go back out to the car. I need to get ready for bed.
What?
Holy shit.
I know. I have to work again tomorrow.
I want to go pretty soon. Not completely yet. Jake, how old are you?
Hey, can you guys hear me? Hello?
Are you driving?
I'm a truck driver, but I got a headset on. Don't worry.
Unfortunately,
Yeah, you can't be like.
No, I'm over at a dock. No, I'm not. I'm not driving. I'm in a dock. Like I'm stationary.
No. Gotcha.
But you're echoing.
We do have an echo. Jake, do me a favor.
Hold on, I've got a headset. I'm gonna put my headset on. This is important. I swear.
Okay.
I got like 5 minutes.
There we go. Now we're cooking.
Let's try
That's
again.
better.
So, anyone? Are we good? Everyone talking?
All right.
Yep.
So,
Yep.
yeah, I got you all in my ear. All right. So I'm gonna try to build off what that one guy was saying.
Well,
Oh no.
Oh, great. Can't fucking
No,
wait.
it's not. Hey, everybody, it's all good. It's all good.
Okay.
That guy was disingenuous as fuck. So,
So he was. You guys are talking about like age is measured by time. Like it.
can you go backwards in age? Can you go backwards in age?
Is age even a real thing? Was time not created by man? Yeah.
Is this a
Was time not
philosophy
created by
fucking-
man?
Oh, God.
Was it not created by man?
I swear
All
to
right,
God,
I
if
gotta
you're
go
still,
to
bro,
bed,
I will
guys.
punch
I
a
can't do this
platypus in
again.
the throat.
I gotta fix my nails and everything. Bye.
I mean, you guys, you're not gonna. You're not saying.
I don't want to have a
not saying
philosophical
anything
argument
against
about
it.
time. Honestly, our goal here is a conversation about people's gender identities and not.
All right.
the
I can build off
philosophy
that.
of
I can build
time.
off that. It's good. It's good.
Okay.
So, whenever it comes to gender affirming care, I'm not too understanding of what all goes on. So if you could explain to me just a little bit, what
I love that.
fully do you mean by gender affirming care?
No, you want to take it?
Sure. Gender affirming care is very individualized, so it depends on the child or adult. We are talking about children in this live, though. So it can be anything from social affirmation, which is haircuts, clothing changes, pronoun changes, name changes, and then to therapy. Possibly only 2.5% of trans identifying children actually go on puberty blockers, and then maybe eventually HRT as a teenager, and then possibly surgeries late teens or into adulthood. And again, it's very individualized, so someone can go on HRT and never have a surgery, or someone can go on puberty blockers and never go on HRT or have surgeries. It can be any number or combination of things.
All right, so let me ask you this. Are you going to let your child drink alcohol or smoke
Jesus
weed?
fuck, did you even listen to what I said?
I did. It's
Okay, Jake.
Answer the question.
Jake, I'm glad to. Jake, is smoking alcohol, is drinking alcohol or smoking grass? You have to say grass on here. Is that healthcare?
It's still the same concept. So
Is it healthcare? Jake,
legally
is it
by law,
healthcare?
our government, you
Is
have
it-
to be
Jake,
you
is
got to
it
be
healthcare?
21 if you want.
Okay, we're gonna make it real easy, Jake. I'm asking you simple
I'm
questions.
gonna smoke alcohol here soon.
I'm gonna smoke some alcohol myself. Is it healthcare? Please, I'm not interested in disingenuous conversations. It is 12:40 and on Beyonce's internet right now, and no thank you. Is it healthcare? Please. I might smoke alcohol with my Uniboober. I'm going down some holes. I am something is happening and I don't know.
Oh my god, the way I just laughed was ridiculous, but it was funny. So yeah, Jake, you are muted. Also, doctors are not recommending alcohol or smoking to treat symptoms of gender dysphoria. And if you think you're doing something clever here that we've never heard before, think of fucking again. For real. Unmute yourself, Jake. I was like, what is that sound? It's my dishwasher. I forgot that
Well, it happens.
So what's the point of muting me and not let me finish?
Because you were talking over, we asked you, is it healthcare? And you were going in a crazy direction.
I was trying to
It's not
explain.
healthcare.
I'm trying to explain. Okay. So yeah, it's not healthcare. It's okay.
Right.
That's understandable. It's not healthcare. But why, if you have to be a certain age to do those things, or you have to be a certain age to vote?
Because are those things beneficial?
Voting's not healthcare. I'm done. Honestly, I love, and I've been uber patient, and people will attest to that, and even people who are don't like me in the comments have said how patient I've been. But honestly, if you're going to go the direction of like saying, why don't you smoke and drink and let them vote? It's stupid. It's not analogous, and just stop.
We've heard it so many times.
Hi.
Hi, how old are you?
37.
For the love of fucking God, please don't make the same points the previous guest did.
No, I'm actually a medical doctor.
Yes. Okay.
So
what do you want? What's your take?
Yes.
Oh wait, did we get you got the age right? I'm sorry. I apologize. What do we call you? I want to say your name correctly.
Jeff.
Thank you, because Scooty was going to feel weird, and I appreciate that.
Well, yeah, my friends named me that, so.
Well, look, this isn't my name, but people call me that. Gets weird too. So here we are.
Yeah.
All right. How are you, Jeff? Let's chat.
I'm great. Gender affirming care is absolutely proven. They're just, we would love a nice randomized controlled trial, but there have been trials, but I think you're a little bit wrong on the 1%. It's actually 2.5% return to cis after 5 years, and 3.5 go non-binary after 5 years in a study of about 364 patients.
No, non-binary is still under the trans umbrella.
Sure. Yes. But those are the numbers on the recent studies.
Where did you get that one? Because the one I use is an Australian study. I don't know what study you got that from.
I'm grabbing here. And these are good conversations. I like conversations that can look at studies together. That's all. I appreciate that. I almost called you Scooty. Damn it, Jeff! I'm gonna say your damn name.
Jeff. Oh, I have it saved.
Someone said this is Satan's whore. That's the nicest thing you've ever called me. I appreciate it, Antonio.
It was May of 2022 was the study. It was 316, not 364. That was just my memory was off. And it was in pediatrics, published in Pediatrics Journal.
All right, there's a new one that was published. That was from March 2022 or 2024. Hold on.
Yeah, one's just come up fairly recently on that, Jeff.
Oh wait, that's the one on adults, I think.
For the initial 3 to 12 was the initial age, and then they followed him for 5 years.
Oh, okay. Yours is looking at just youth only specifically. Yes. I think that's okay. I don't know which one Mel has right now. The one I was referencing, and you know what? Hey, we are talking about youth, so I should be very accurate with that.
Yeah.
Is I was talking about the transgender study that was like all ages. So
if you go all ages, it's definitely 1% probably.
Yeah, that's probably okay.
When you get into the adults, they're pretty for sure.
Yeah, that's likely the difference on it. That's a good thing to point out.
The one that I looked at is children, but it is a new groundbreaking study shows extremely low detransition rates. And this is with children. It determined that 1% of patients receiving gender affirming care detransitioned or desisted. And this was a study out of Perth, Australia. There was 552 young patients.
That's a good study. That's decent. I mean, was it like a retrospective study, or was it prospective, or? Hold
on, let me open the study.
Because they keep saying that, oh, because ethics are so complex that we can't do a randomized control trial, and I think that's bullshit. Honestly. But I will tell you, I was against it. Well, I wasn't against it. I was just like, that can't be right at first. But then and that was, I don't know, maybe 5 years ago. But as a physician, you're not supposed to be one-sided. You have to change your mind,
Right.
You have to, or else you're just going to get stuck,
I don't know what type of study it is.
Yeah, hang on, oh, it went black, or I don't know. Is it black? I can't see your screen.
Yeah.
No, it's because of the green screen. Hold on.
Come on, green screen.
I gotta do this, and then now I'm backwards and I look weird.
Oh my God!
I just went mirrored.
No, hold on. There we go.
Ooh, nice chandelier.
That's the study.
Re-identification with birth registered sex in a Western Australian pediatric gender clear clinic. Oh, cohort study. Okay.
Huh.
What does it say? 5.3% re-identified.
Because it talks about, findings, a cohort study, 540 individuals who were closed to referrals to pediatric gender clinic 29, 5.3% reportedly re-identified to their birth registered sex before or during assessment. 2 of these individuals re-identified during the medical treatment, which corresponds to 1% of all patients who initiated medical treatment.
So is it just the 2 that out of the 5.3%? Because 5.3% of 548 is a significant.
No, I'm sorry. I apologize for interrupting. Can you go to subs only real fast, please?
Yeah.
We got some really, really, stuff. Some anti-Semitic and racist and all of it. Yeah.
Oh, I'm not even looking. Don't look at the comments.
No. I'm some moderator. I was trying to mute some of them, and there's like hundreds of like very, very like problematic ones. Okay, cool. Continue.
Yeah.
Sorry.
I'm a fast reader. Sorry.
No, it's fine.
But it was 5.3 and you misunderstood, or was it 1%? Was it just?
That's what it said. That's just what it says. I just read it.
Okay. Yeah. Either way, we're talking landslide on the benefits, and it reduces suicidality, it reduces depression and anxiety. It reduces.
Weird backwards.
The thing is, they're not going to start teaching it in medical schools for, I think, a long time, which is going to be a problem. So the only way for practitioners to learn about it is to like do it themselves now, outside of residency and outside of medical school. And you're not going to get a lot of people motivated to do that when they're making as much money as they're making doing their day to day. Like you really have to have somebody that's motivated to do it, either personally or professionally or through a family member or something like that. But it'll happen. It's just, people just want a randomized controlled trial so bad with a large N and a p-value of well below 0.05. And that's kind of what's holding, the basically like, oh, for sure back. But we have so many for sures to speak of. But when you're talking about making a complete like global, this is actual medical fact now, you definitely need a randomized controlled trial to back it. But that's the only thing I wanted to say. And the last 2 people were disingenuous and stupid.
So it says here, it's all this, okay. A groundbreaking study out of Australia published, blah, 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 whatever, found that 1% of transgender youth receiving gender-affirming care at the clinic re-identified with their birth-assigned sex, so they're cisgender. This, in addition to the 4% who re-identified during the mental health assessment period or earlier, did not proceed with receiving gender-affirming care. The study based on.
Okay, so you're right technically. So it's around 4% in the evaluation process. Of course, we're going to evaluate them before we move forward with doing anything to their systems, their hormones, their bodies.
Yeah,
and
they didn't even
they identified a few there, and then after that, you're looking at 1%. Yeah,
Yeah.
okay, that makes sense.
Mhm.
That makes a lot of sense. Okay, well, wonderful. Well, you guys, I don't know if you want to keep me on and have any questions, but
No, we're good. Thank you.
Just because I don't know how to react right now, can you call Mel a slur real fast?
what did you say?
Nothing.
Especially not a slur, bitch.
Look,
and I'm
the
also-
other 78 people that popped in there for a second was all going at it, so I had to do something.
My wife's also a breastfeeding mother right now, and I'm going to call her the Uniboober later tonight.
Oh, God.
Okay, Mel, apparently we need merch now, so.
Oh, no. All right. Thank you.
All right, see you guys.
Good talking to you. Let me see before you lay anyone in, because there were some really, really bad ones in the box. Hold on.
Yeah, so that makes sense that they caught 4% of those kids before they even started the process, and then the ones that did start the process, 1% of those ended up being cisgender. And we do want people, like, that's what we advocate for, though. Like, I don't advocate for everyone to have the same care. Every child should not have the same care. And of course, we do want medical professionals to catch children who are not actually transgender before starting any type of gender affirming care. You need to have a gender dysphoria diagnosis, and whatever care you receive should be the benefits should be outweighing the risks. Period.
Yeah. I'm sorry. I'm getting slap happy. I don't know what, I'm not even tired. And it's like, Jesus.
I took another nap. Like, I am like exhausted during the day. It's so annoying.
Tiny did not let me sleep last night. She's like, no, you're good. We're going to play now. I'm like hell we are. So yeah, I think sorry, it's the wrong thing.
What? I just saw this one.
What's that?
All right. Did you hear about the cast review?
Yeah, didn't she end up retracting it, her statement, because of how people were misconstruing it?
Yeah, so now this came out today. So I get a lot of my information I get from erinninthemorning.com. She does link all of her studies, but she like writes stuff out, like explanations, which are really good for me as someone who is horrible at actually reading studies themselves. It may be due to corn.
Oh.
This claim is without evidence. So, yeah.
Is it cream corn? Corn on the cob?
Funny. Not actual corn.
Oh.
Yeah. But, yeah. So that's just a thing. So I'm sure we'll hear about that soon.
Can't wait.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, honestly, it would be a refreshing change compared to the alcohol, smoking, voting, and driving.
And they think that they're the first ones to like come in and say that.
No one's ever said that before. That's crazy. Mommy times 2. You're not loading. I can see Mel's shoulder.
It's not. All right, that's it, you guys. We have no more requests. If anybody would like to come in, ooh, I have a sub wave. 3 more subs. We complete the sub wave. If anybody else wants to come in and talk right now, now's the time, or I can end.
And yet you were still wrong about what, Moderate? Hey, Moderate, I want to say shout out and say thank you for like all of the comments tonight. You are boosting the algorithm, and we appreciate and respect it.
Yeah, wrong about what?
Change the topic? What? Change the topic? Well, this is kind of the topic that Mel does. It's kind of like the main topic that applies to her family and her life, which is why it's important to have these conversations.
Yeah, I usually just do different variations of kid topics, and then I do like the one cisgender topic.
Unicorn. Ah! What have I started?
Oh, it's fucking Christian manatees.
Right? Christian manatees, the uniboobers. We need merch.
I wish I would have kept the Christian manatee clip.
That was so good. Oh my God, it was Maddie. Aaron's background said it was "I'm a man, prove me wrong," and someone came in and started yelling at him.
Really?
She's like, "Well, you can say that you're a man, blah 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 blah." He's like, "What?" He's like, "It's a joke."
I thought about doing that too. I'm a woman, prove me wrong. But then I'm like, that's just, I mean, I don't want to do that, but I get it. They really think they know.
Yeah, she had thoughts. And she's like, "Oh, it's my generation. I'm in my 60s." I'm like, "Okay. Gonna need you to bring it down to a 2.
Oh, sure, winner. Why are you here?
Oh, Sherwin, don't. The thing is stressful. We had oh, I'm sorry. An actual one.
Why, sure. That's all it was about.
Yeah. I no. What's your name? Can I call you Les? I feel. Well, it's in your name, so I'm gonna say it respectfully and not mean. Yeah, I didn't mean to trigger if there was something linked to that. I actually read your comment wrong. I literally read it as you had a boober in your town. Like, what the fuck are you talking about? I apologize. I need sleep. I am just all over the place.
Yeah, I mean, you guys. Bish said he was heterosexual. We know he's not doing well right now.
I need to go have a conversation with my husband. He's gonna be upset.
Oh, that's cool, Conrad. I don't know. We had pretty consistent views between 400 and 500 tonight, which is pretty good. For nighttime. What actions are you taking to improve the life of transgender people? Educating. We're trying to, especially when my platform is more specifically about transgender children, right? Getting people to understand what being transgender is, that children can be transgender, that children need support. They need to be educated about. They may need gender affirming care, all kinds of things, and that will overall benefit the lives of transgender people.
Yep. Dahlia says, "Bish, you do need rest. You're actually nice." Well, Dahlia, first of all, thank you. Second of all, I love you, Dahlia. That's actually a beautiful name. But if you know me, and you might not, because hi, this is the internet. We don't really know people. My default is nice, like in real life and preferably online. I am known for getting spicy. I own that, and I am known for matching energies because I think a lot of it is I am an old queen who grew up with a lot of bullshit, a lot of getting bashed, and a lot of hate. And I have found my confidence, and I use my voice aggressively to let others who haven't found their voice know that it's okay, that we don't need to take the shit from people. But yeah, I prefer to have a nice conversation. It's always my preference. It's just that we get more aggressive people in election years, so you're going to see an aggressive side of me. I'm just trying to chill out now because I'm sleepy. You know what I mean? But also,
I'm also typically more calm for night lives as well. Where during the day, if I'm more awake, I make it more spicy. And the different times of days, like different guests tend to join. I think guests tend to be tired at night too. So a lot of times they're calmer, which that goes with the whole matching energy thing. But yeah.
Yeah. I don't know.
Oh, I did want to read something from the Trevor Project. That's what I'll do. We'll do that, and then I will end, I guess, because I don't see anybody else. But I thought this was really an interesting thing to read. And again, this article is a very good read on the trevorproject.org, a guide to being an ally to transgender and non-binary young people. And this is a really good section, and I am trying to get better about this with all types of aspects, but
Oh wait, I'm sorry. Sherwin says, "Hurry up and end." I got you, boo. I got you. Shh. I put the shh in Sherwin. That was fun.
Oh my God, I love that. Okay, what to do if you have offended someone? While we rarely intend to hurt others, common mistakes such as forgetting a person's pronouns or using their birth name instead of their chosen name or misgendering a person can hurt feelings or even put a person's safety at risk. In these moments, it's good to have a roadmap to how to make things right. Listen. Unfortunately, it's common to avoid listening to those that you've hurt, whether it's intentional or not, as it inspires uncomfortable feelings of guilt and shame. Stay in your discomfort and be willing to listen, because this is how we can grow. And when you can get through, like a lot of times you do get defensive, right? And you try to make things about you. And that's a very common thing that humans do. And making yourself stay in discomfort is difficult. But once you've been able to do it, it becomes much easier. That was me. Also, I wasn't reading that. Seek to understand and empathize with other persons. Oh my God. Let me reread this. Seek to understand and empathize with other person's lived experience. Be accountable. Take responsibility for your actions, privileges, and experiences that you hold, which could contribute to your biases. Don't dismiss what the person is sharing with you. Justify your behavior or defend your intentions. This isn't helpful to the people who have been hurt, and it shifts the focus away from the people who have been harmed onto you and your personal feelings of guilt, shame, or defensiveness. Remember, intention is not impact. The best apology is one that doesn't make excuses or invalidate other people's feelings. And then commit to do better. Treat it as a learning experience. The most authentic apology is Wait a minute. Oh. Okay, hold on.
Take two.
Because it says the most authentic apology is meaningless, but there's more. And I'm like, what? Like I stopped there and I was confused. Okay.
And scene.
The most authentic apology is meaningless if there's no change or if the behavior is repeated constantly in the future. Show you care by doing better the next time.
Mm-hmm.
There you go. And that can work with any mistake that you make. If someone is telling you that you hurt their feelings, listen to them. Try not to defend yourself. Try not to defend your because a lot of times we focus on our intentions. Well, I didn't intend to hurt you. I didn't intend to do harm. Recognizing your impact is very important there.
Mm-hmm.
People do make mistakes, absolutely. So just own that shit.
Can I get back on my soapbox for just 1 second?
Yes.
All right. So I said this earlier, and I kind of want to reinstate it because we may have new people in here right now. This is an election year. If you are part of the LGBTQI plus community, you know that we have some shit in front of us. Well, guess what? It's time for us all to stand up. It's time for us all to use our damn voices and do something. Just sitting on the internet, having conversations like this is great. But what do you do when we log off? I can tell you what I do. I'm also very active in things in my community and things near me. You have to do that. It's so, so important. That's all I have to say. Just don't stop and don't get caught up on things that aren't going to serve the whole community at the end. That's it.
Mm-hmm. And of course, as always, safety first. When it comes to doing anything in person or online. But also make sure, if you are just talking to your friends and family, and again, you don't have to be harsh. Just try to get people to try to figure out what types of things you can do to get through to them, whether it's the history of LGBTQ community, whether it's literally just showing people, like Bish said, like, do you actually understand what you're, like, if you know someone's voting for Trump, do you actually understand what you're voting for? Have you looked at Agenda 47 or Project 2025? And if you can get anyone to even like just listen, to be open to educating themselves on these things is very important. Because I understand a lot of people when it comes to politics, you don't want to educate yourself. It seems like a lot. It seems like overwhelming. We've been taught that, oh, your vote doesn't matter, especially if you're in areas that are predominantly red and you want to vote blue or vice versa or whatever. You just feel like it's pointless or it doesn't affect you, so you don't care. I mean, this is such a huge, like Bish said, it's such a huge year. This really could change a lot of people's lives in a negative way.
And not just LGBTQ, BIPOC, women, like if you are not a white cisgender heterosexual man like I came out as tonight, then
that was funny.
Then Molly, you and Danger Girl, going back to Ghost. I'm sorry, I love that movie. I watched it again the other day. Yeah, seriously, we none of us are safe. We all need to stand together. Every single one of us has to stand together. It's so important right now. And also, advice to the haters, because one, I don't care about you, but two, if I want to know what you are for, because everyone sees what you're against, but people that actively join lives and hate watch on hours on end, like nonstop, what are you for in your life? And if it's something that's not, that what we're for, awesome. Put your energy into what you're for, not what you're against. You're gonna have a very different life, and I wish you all the better life. I really do.
Exactly. And you don't have to, you can focus on like one thing because it can be really overwhelming. A lot of times when we talk, I talk specifically mostly about transgender children, right? Sometimes I talk about just LGBTQ children as a whole. Sometimes I talk about, just being cisgender or transgender, but typically it's children. Just because we talk about like one topic often doesn't mean that I ignore all other topics and that I don't care about other things. Mm-hmm. Sometimes we only can put enough effort in and we can only, as human beings, focus on one topic at a time. And I don't think that's something that you need to be like holding against someone. It doesn't mean that we don't advocate for other things and that we don't believe in other types of human rights, don't believe in other minorities. Like Bish was saying, that they deserve rights as well. It's just because I focus on these topics doesn't mean that other topics are not important to me.
Right. So we can care about more than one thing at a time. I'm sorry. I think this is a troll comment. If it wasn't, it's done well. Other trolls take notes. Barney Bevs, we're going to call you out with love. Says, I'm a hater. I'm for more Taco Bells in my area. You know what? What I am exhausted with on these lives is the things like earlier, like, well, it's alcohol, and how about cigarettes and drugs and tattoos? And then you have someone pulling out a sentence like that. It's just a chef's kiss. It's like, you know what? Because guess what? No one else typed that today, did they? No one else typed that.
No, yeah, like, stop.
Be creative. I appreciate that.
Reading other people. Yeah, exactly. We hear the same things over and over again. The fucking bones still come up every now and then. I know. It's the same arguments. If you want to advocate for more Taco Bells in your area and that's important to you, go ahead.
God damn it, do it. You better get some extra sauce. Thank you, Sue. I appreciate you. You better get some more fire sauce. Crunchwrap Supremes, baby. Oh my God.
KTP, it's annoying to hear the same things over and over again. And that's why a lot of people, especially when I'm in like more of a spicy mood, like Bish calls it, where I just get, because we can pick up on people being disingenuous And yeah, when we hear the same arguments over and over again, and we hear the same thing, like we know where they're going, we know where they're coming from, we know that they're not willing to learn, especially when we see people in these spaces multiple times. Like we watch other people's lives. Sometimes when I'm busy driving my kids around, doing the mom things that you guys say I don't do, I listen to other people's lives sometimes or whatever, or if I'm grocery shopping. And yeah, these same people tend to go from live to live with the same disingenuous points. They don't learn anything, and they're not worth our time.
Yep. It's true.
What is moderate liberal saying now?
I don't know. She only has 2 followers, so.
Somebody said join the box. I didn't know what they said.
Yeah. She's had a lot to say all night. She's one of the people I'm saying is she sits there and has a lot to say, but I'm like, do something with your life. Do something positive. It's fine. You know? How do you have disingenuous points? What are you talking about, babes? What you mean?
You mean like other people?
I don't know what that means.
People, especially with this topic, they typically tend to bring us down a whole, what is gender affirming care? Never heard of it before type thing when they have a million times.
Right.
So we'll go down the whole thing and we'll talk about it. They'll talk about like, oh, puberty blockers aren't safe. And then we'll talk about how they are. We'll give sources on these things or talk about gender affirming care. We'll talk about HRT, and then I'll talk about like the patient education form and how there's a consent form and how there's all these different requirements. Sometimes we go through every single thing, and then it just turns out that they just don't like trans people, period. It doesn't matter if they're kids or adults, like they're just against them. They don't look at trans identities as valid. This happens over and over and over again. There are people who will pretend to care, make us educate them on every little thing, and they don't. And it's very frustrating.
Exactly. So moderate liberal says Adora, Mel, Bish, never go viral. But was saying like Kelly Cagan, some other names do. Here's the thing: one, you got 2 followers. Learn your place. Second of all, I'm not here to go viral. I'm not here to go viral. But yeah, people like some of the other names you mentioned who are toxic people, they do go viral because conservatives love someone in the community that hates themselves because it allows them to say, see, we're on their side. It's the pick-me's that are, it's like the leopard ate my face party. Like, the leopard's not going to eat my face. Oh my God, the leopard ate my face. That they're surprised whenever that happens. So yeah, they go viral because conservatives love someone in a community that hates the community as much as they do.
Yep. Yeah. And again, it's not like that.
It's an echo chamber. Well, moderate liberal, it's been fun seeing all of your comments, but call me Ursula, honey. I just took your voice.
And it is funny because I have talked about since the very beginning of my platform, my space is heavily moderated. That is true, right? Because for me, again, it's not about letting the comments run wild. It's not about getting the views and being like popular, right? It's about getting the message out and getting people to understand trans people and to validate trans children so we can have less children feeling alone and broken. And of course, if a live does get a ton of views, then yay, like that's great because there's more people to educate, but it's not about that at all. So we can't typically plan these things, right? Mm-hmm. You just get lucky sometimes. Some creators get really lucky and they just get views, high views very often. And it doesn't have a lot to do with energy. It has a lot, which I don't have a whole lot of. I am old.
Yes, you are.
But yeah, it doesn't really matter. I never planned on it being like popular on this app at all. It's funny. What's funny is when I talked to some of my friends about when I first started going live, I'm like, oh, I'm going to be one of those lives that I'm like talking to like 10 people. I'm like, is anybody actually going to care what I have to say? Like, it's going to be pointless. And that's not how it went for me. I was honestly shocked. And again, this was not something that was planned. I never thought I would still be talking about this a year and a half later.
But as long as people are still going to listen, I'm still going to talk. So.
There you go.
Yeah. All right. Thank you, everyone, for hanging out tonight. Appreciate you all. I am going to get ready for bed, I guess. And let's see who's live.
And while you're grabbing someone, this is also, right now, it's also currently Mental Health Awareness Month. So everyone, and I'm going to say even the people who are the fucking nasty haters here right now, maybe especially you, some self-care before you go to bed, all right? Something self-care, go get some air, do a meditation, play a song that brings you peace. Do something for your mental health tonight. And I do mean that for everyone, especially the angry ones. Okay, cool.
Yeah, we actually do care about your mental health.
Yeah, I do.
There's some reason why you're so hateful. So
work on that.
you could take care of yourself. Also, of course, I have requests right now. If you guys want to go, if you guys want to go raid Tommy, he's the only one I see live right now. But and there's not very many of you, but go over there, say Mel raid, say hi. That is my_dude, DOODE. He typically hangs out with Jaden, the voice actor, and they're entertaining. Even if you don't really like political lies, they're entertaining.
But many people here who are the haters are thinking this is well, I wish it wasn't a political issue. So go in there and show your political knowledge, because I would hope they at least put the collar on you before dog walking you.
Yeah, if you guys want to go have some political conversations, I will go listen to you while I get ready for bed.
Yay.
Yeah, and next month is Pride Month, so let's try to educate ourselves on what Pride is and why we're celebrating, because it is not just a celebration. Pride was originally a protest, and it's a very important history to learn, which I had no idea about before, again, on this app. So yay for TikTok and educating people. All right, I could keep rambling on, but I'm not going to. Again, my_DOODE, Melraid. Have a good night, everybody. See you.
Good night, Thank you all. Bye.